Paul,
He's watching the series.
We are now on screen. We're no longer on a black screen. You don't get away with this. Put it away.
Okay.
I can't send that gif.
All of you
But
stop.
you did.
Actually, no, just the boys on the diagonal stop.
The diagonal.
I can say that now because Lewis is in the middle of you.
Slime titties.
Fucking,
It's not the worst thing we've had in the recording.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
We've had that in the recordings before too. As I welcome you all back to Twisted Fates, and once again this becomes a regular occurrence where even in the Halloween special it appears I apologise to all of you and Matthew. As, yes, we are in our second session of our Halloween special. We are still joined by Lewis, who is an honorary boy for this duration of the periods, playing our only female character, making sure this isn't a sausage fest, which is quite nice. As
I mean, it would be a sausage fest because Paul's a robot.
I don't have a sausage.
That's true. Paul is a
I'm a
robot.
skeleton, so I don't have one either.
Robot.
Technicalities, you are both male gendered.
I am sans sausage.
You're still male
You are
gendered.
sans.
No.
Let's get back on track.
Sadness. Recap of what happened last time, at least for my boys, as at least for us recording wise, it comes not the day after the previous recording, surprise surprise, and for all you folk at home. We started with Aziza, our special guest, as she woke up in a strange location, in a strange room, on her own, venturing out and exploring her new surroundings. She found herself in a rather strange estate house, where she then bumped into Grim, our skeleton, a reborn who, like her, had no realization, had no idea of how he came to be in this estate house, though had a different experience to her getting here. Whereas where she just woke up as if she had gone to bed that evening in her own home, Grim instead followed a light, believing it to be a sign from his own god. The two of them then continued to explore, where through clattering and crashing, tumbling out of a storage room, perceiving it to be the end of a tunnel, was a animated suit of armour known as Buckethead from the organisation Uwu. Thanks, Paul.
I actually forgot that's what I called it. That's so funny.
How did you forget that?
Where the party wasn't quite together yet, as after meeting with Buckethead, another figure burst through the front doors, with the doors sealing behind them as they, from their experience, had been chased through the mists and fogged by a rather angry group of townsfolk. Now finding himself in the estate house, Orson joined the party, where the four of them found they were being watched by a rather peculiar looking cat from one of the doors, where cautiously they followed it and found the final member of our party, the mummified Tanith. The party then obviously proceeded to explore their surroundings, find out why they were here, possibly find some answers, and just to get a footing, as it seemed that they were alone in this manor house. Where, exploring, they found that several of the doors on the ground floor were locked, and some of them had some interesting surprises inside. As we had two combats last session, the first coming before the break, where they found themselves in a rather odd art gallery, where it seems people's likenesses had been stolen and gifted to portraits, where it was very lucky that none of them had their likenesses stolen, as they were attacked by some small marionettes.
We got shockingly close for them being so small.
So for so small, yes, they did a lot of damage, and that makes me worried for tonight. Where, leaving them behind and exploring some more of the house, you eventually got into the billiard room, having found the second piece to the riddle for the locked door, and you fought some more ghosts, some more ghastly figures there, eventually getting another key, where we ended our session last time, with a few rooms on the bottom floor still being unexplored, and the second floor, the first floor, up the stairs of the stairwell, being completely untouched. Where, the 5 of you being regathered in the sitting room with this strange key, you have several options to where you want to begin for today. As obviously you will likely continue to explore the manor house, as you've not quite sussed it out other than its possible owner. You don't know much about him, though you've seen his portrait, or some of his portrait. You notice that a lot of the faces of these portraits are missing. And there are 3 doors on the ground floor that you have not gone into. Though, mind you, some of them are locked. So you have options. You obviously have those doors to try, you have a key which could open one of the locked doors you have found, or you have free reign to go upstairs. But I get to shut up, because that's your decision, not mine.
I mean, we should probably try the rest of the rooms on the bottom floor that were locked since we have a key.
Yeah.
It's like... What,
Could
was
try
it
the... We should try the front door. Maybe, like, there's literally no challenge here. We could have left at any time.
I mean, the front door was locked to my knowledge, but we do have a key. We could try that.
Exactly.
Who has the key? That's an important question.
Orson picked it up if I remember correctly. Because he was the only one brave enough to go and touch it. After the combat.
I'm okay to say I'm a coward. Do we want to try the front door then? Since we have a key.
I think the option would be to try the front door, and then every room that we haven't gone into yet.
Until we start upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, so it's just these three rooms we haven't been into.
Yep, there was 3 rooms that the 5 of you hadn't gone into last time.
Are we in the library?
Actually, no, you hadn't gone into the library, so there's also the bottom floor of the library.
Well, I think we should probably go left to right, but that's not my call to make, as I'm at the back of you guys, as I'm not going fucking first. Fuck that!
Let's see where we can be getting going to. So, follow me. I'll head out of the room and towards and try the door of the library bottom floor.
Cool. So that door is open. So obviously it's not the door for this key. As pushing the doors open, big set of double doors, this is a 2-story library. Though you notice that there is no access to the second floor from the ground floor. As the bottom floor seems to be reserved for obviously a myriad of books and shelves, as well as a few interesting artifacts that are a little bit more monstrous in their appearance. You have fossilized horns and claws, as well as skulls and bones, as well as a few, I guess, more unique and smaller creatures that were likely bought rather than killed by the owners of this place, as they are a lot more well preserved and pickled in jars that are resting upon the shelves. There is also a seating area in the centre of the library. This is likely, you know, where you would come in and entertain guests. And at least from the larger spines of some of the tomes that lie around, the theme of the books down here seem to be quite heavily focused on mythos and monsters, as well as, for a few of them, death, it would seem.
Well, it doesn't look like this room is what we're looking for, so but I'm not one to say no to a good library, so
Was that door locked, or was that one unlocked?
That was unlocked.
Well, at the very least, it gives an insight into whoever owns this place.
let's have a look then.
I'd let Orson walk in,
Oh, he walks in.
I'm
or
assuming
making sure nothing tries to assault him.
I'm assuming kind of almost running your finger and just having a look at some of the books.
Yep.
For yourself, Orson, this is a rather strange collection, as quite a lot of them are, I guess, what you would classify as regulated books for sorcerers and wizards, anyone looking to study magic. there are quite a few different volumes and collections of a series of books called The Laws and Regulations of Gentleman's Magic. You yourself, even Buckethead, this is something that, until you were created, your master dabbled in occasionally. Gentleman's magic in this era, this time period, was essentially a way to describe good in magic, in air quotes. Things that wasn't macabre or grotesque. Restoration magic, basic evocation magic, simple illusion magic. It wasn't, well, for the two of you who are rather macabre constructs, it wasn't that style of magic. It was things that could simply be described as party tricks. Something that very wealthy men could dabble in to make themselves look more impressive. However, there are some books that you can see, especially around quite a few of the artifacts, that if Grim is also wandering around this library rather than lingering in the halls, seem to focus quite a lot on myth, legends, fables, anything it would seem that they can get their hands on pertaining to death and the afterlife, where scattered around in quite a few of the books are quite a few more dark magic and necromantic tomes. Things that quickly stray away from gentleman's magic and quickly fall into the realm of unsanctioned magic, where perhaps not explicitly in a lot of these books, but some of them have the suggestion of raising the dead, crafting constructs, ways to extend or alter life. These are the themes of, whilst it's not an exact instruction book on how to do it, a lot of the books seem to almost garner that obsession with controlling, altering, extending one's life to avoid or alter their state after death.
Okay. I'm not a fan of this guy's book collection.
Maybe you'll prefer the ones upstairs when you go up there, Matthew.
That's a threat.
Either a threat or she just thinks you'll enjoy the books.
D&D has made me a cynical man.
No, I feel I've just made you a cynical man.
I would have
Yeah.
done too, but when I saw Grim coming into the doorway, I'd have just shuffled awkwardly off to the side corner of this library, watching these two do whatever it is they're doing. I don't know how to read that well.
Well, you never had a need for reading.
Yes, hence why I don't know how to read that well.
What about the windows of the library? Is there windows?
There are big bay windows at the front of the library that overlook onto the hills, overlook onto essentially a driveway, and down towards the path that would be used for the village. The thing, if you're kind of almost looking out and looking over them, that you see Buckethead, is they almost look really dusty or really foggy, almost like it's not quite clear glass. As whilst you can see the horizon and you can see the village down the hill, you can even see the path to get there. You can see that there is a wind blowing through the trees that seem to surround the gardens. There is this just haze that seems to be almost coating this rather thick pane glass window. It doesn't let much light into this place.
They don't seem to open in any sort of fashion.
Not that you can work out.
Have we tried smashing a window?
Certainly, be our guest.
Thank you. Is there a piece of furniture around?
Yep, there
I'm
are
going to back out of the library.
there
I'm
are
gonna do the
chairs.
same.
There are
I'd like to
chairs.
pick
There
up-
are wee side tables. As
Don't
everyone backs out.
Don't fucking smash the window, mate.
Why not?
Please do.
Why search for a key to unlock our means of escape when we can just jump out the window?
Well, you don't really look like you can jump out of a window, but
I can jump.
I'm sure you can, mate. But it's just
Just let him. Just let him.
I pick up a chair by its back. May I?
whatever.
I swing the chair against the window.
Give me an attack roll. Technically with
What-
advantage.
Don't
Well,
fucking implicate me in your bullshit. I'm gonna fucking.
No, what? What's the damage stats of a chair?
It is an improvised weapon, so d4 per strength. And it's a d20 with advantage, obviously adding your strength. You're not proficient in... Well, actually, everyone's proficient in improvisations. No,
Nope.
everyone's
It's
proficient in
unarmed
armed, not improvised.
So just a standard strength.
Yep.
17. Does that hit the window?
Yes.
I fucking hope it does.
You
What was
don't
the
do damage.
what was the Windows what was the Windows AC?
Glass, I think, is 13.
Oh, there is actually. See, I didn't think it would be.
No, there's object DCs in 5th edition. As I throw my dice on the floor.
Is this the D4 plus anything, or is it just the strength?
Plus strength, yeah.
Yeah. So 5.
As you smash the chair against the window with quite some force, not a lot of damage in the other end of it, though you hear a crack. All of you will be able to hear the window crack. However, when you take back the chair, when it rebounds, you notice that the crack just starts fixing itself.
It would appear that the windows cannot be smashed.
Fucking well done, genius.
I thought it was worth a shot.
It was, and that's why we let you do it.
Is the chair like beyond repair now?
The couple of legs are splintered, bit cracked, bit broken. You're definitely not going to be able to sit on it anymore.
Well, I'll put the chair back exactly where I found it and try and like make it look like it hasn't been moved.
Give me performance.
No, take it as your weapon, Paul.
Either performance or sleight of hand, whichever one you're better in, if at all.
Just performance. 13.
Cool. It looks pretty convincing. You kind of set all the furniture back up, make sure that, you know, it looks... nothing is out of place. And then you start clambering away, obviously heading back towards the door, and you just hear the thud. As obviously it just kind of falls off the broken leg and just kind of sits sadly on the carpet.
On to the next room.
It was a good try, Buckethead.
Close the
Thank
door
you.
behind you as you leave.
Close the door. Being gentle as to not smash it.
All Tanith is really thinking is, should we really support him? But also, if we keep supporting him, he might find a way out. And if he does that, that might kill him.
My kill him.
Let us try the front door.
I don't think that's gonna let us out the front door, really.
Let us be thorough in our search for his escape.
Go ahead. Just try not to die. Or get
I'll
hurt
try
or anything.
I'll try my best. Orson, would you give me the key so I might try the front door? Or yourself, you can try it.
He passes the key over. Give it right back.
Of course. And I stomp down the hallway to the front door.
The front door is locked. Obviously, shuggling the handle just to make sure. It's definitely locked.
I try the key.
It doesn't fit the lock. When you actually
It did not work.
when you actually put it in, there's almost a lip or a seal on the kind of tip of the key that actually stops it from getting into that lock entirely.
It wasn't so much that the key didn't fit, but there was some magical barrier stopping me from putting the key into the lock. Like I said, I am thorough. Then to the next room.
I'd be lying if I said I was surprised. As I'd let the robot walk ahead. Still befuddled that the robot can exist.
So where'd you go?
Right.
At the end of last session, I suggested we go to the trophy room, but then we decided I should probably just rest here for a bit.
Yeah, because you guys were
Yeah.
pretty injured. Yeah, you still got the trophy room, the dining room, and the estate office are the rooms you've not been in. Locked doors, you know that the door to the estate office is locked. Orson, you attempted to lockpick it, though you noticed that when you were doing so there was almost a weighted panel in the locking mechanism that was stopping you from picking it, and the small narrow doorway, likely leading towards another set of stairs not far from the dance hall, was also locked. And then Buckethead and Grim, yes, found
It
the pantry, the trapdoor in the pantry, heavily locked. As for the trophy room, this door is also unlocked. and heading in, you can definitely see what kind of people the Lord and at least his father was, as this room is adorned in paintings and photographs and placards for memorials, taxidermied creatures, firearms, swords, crossbows.
The fuck's a firearm?
You would know. Buckethead and Orson would know what a firearm was.
Kind of firearms.
Old-fashioned hunting rifles and muskets, so pour gunpowder and barrel style guns. More for show and fancy rather than anything else. Anything that would have been killed with these guns was likely shredded to pieces in the process. As there are quite a few impressive creatures in here. Both, I guess, normal, in air quotes, creatures. Rhinoceros, elephants, giraffe. But also your more traditional D&D creatures. Things like Manticore, Chimera, Pegasi.
Fucking owl there.
A little bit more unusual, a little bit more exotic, but seem to have all been either killed by the Lord or his father, as each one seems to have a dedication next to it, or at least some of them. Not all of the bodies of the creatures they have killed are in this room. You can see them on the walls, painted and photographed next to other creatures that are not on display, but, well, likelihood is they wouldn't have been able to get those corpses back to the manor house, to the estate house.
They rotate their exhibitions. I can respect that.
Very garishly decorated.
Anything of worth, at least.
No, these guns are shit.
Gun?
Primitive weapons. I love that like half of the party is like, oh wow, new shiny thing. And Orson's like, this shit's fucking ancient.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like a lot of the stuff that's in here is from a style and a decor and an age where Buckethead will have just started to see these things coming in, and then Orson will have just started to see these things moving out of circulation. It's kind of stuck in the middle.
These weapons are old as balls.
Well,
Yeah,
are
no.
they to come to life and attack us like the dolls did?
Probably not. Considering even if they did, you just need to dodge one shot because they wouldn't appear to have the ability to reload themselves. And they shoot once. And then you have to reload them.
I appreciate the explanation, but I also didn't know dolls to come alive in my day. Maybe that's changed.
And magic, if there anything, magic is possible.
Then we'll see about 2 shots. As Tanith will wait awkwardly outside the room.
Is there anything else in the room?
Not particularly, other than photographs and taxidermied cadavers.
Any drawers or anything?
None. This seems to be a very show-off room. For example, if he had friends to drink or to smoke, he would likely come and reminisce about the good old days.
Fucking arrogant twat. So
What?
obsessed with his own vanity that he can't have a gun with some. And Orson will slam his hand against walls of fucking magazines!
Maybe he just doesn't have any yet. You could be before him in time period.
An entire battalion of men with these shit muskets could do fucking anything against the shit we've got where I'm from.
Was there any photos of the potential owner of this estate?
There appears to be quite a few, or at least it's either him or his father, you're not too sure. As they both look very similar, though they both have that kind of noble appearance, noble stance, kind of darker hair. Some of them have them photographed with more salt and pepper hair. Very little facial hair, but a very defined chin. Holding a myriad of different weapons whilst being aside different creatures. None of the photographs are nearly really named, as they are all given the titles of Lord Godfrey.
Well, do we want to take it? I think stealing is perhaps not what we're looking to do. Would we like to keep any of these images with us, just in case? Because I can do that, if necessary.
Perhaps take this photo here.
I will not remove it from the wall. Allow me to observe the miracles of technology, my friends. Well, and Orson will reach into his bag, pull out a portable camera, because those existed in the 20s. He will take a picture with it.
And what on earth is that supposed to do?
It's a camera. It takes pictures. It's like okay, so there's a really tiny elf that lives in this thing that draws whatever I point at it.
How do they get the elf inside the camera?
Oh my god, he is that stupid. do you know what the word sarcasm means?
No.
Yeah,
Well, that's a fucking question answered then, isn't it?
What's it, like a Polaroid? There's like a thing like pull out the side.
It says gullible on the ceiling. I'm gonna walk past him as he's looking up.
Get
Oh, you
pricked.
stole my lungs.
I'm just imagining, like, based on the magitech that I assume exists in Orson's time, that through the power of magic and technology, it would have 1920s level technology, but would be able to augment it with magic. So I presume I would be able to produce an image like a Polaroid.
Yeah. It just, rather than having to then go through like the red lighting and the red room process of a Polaroid, it would almost do that automatically.
Yeah.
Like, it would maybe be a wee bit bulkier than what we would know as a standard camera, because it would almost have a red light filter in the camera to then do that as it's processing.
Praise be to the Rochester Camera Club. Let's go.
That is quite an interesting piece of kit. Would I don't wish to speak on everyone's behalf, but I think we should take a picture to commemorate this moment. All of us together in this manner.
I think
All of us.
once we've confirmed an exit, I believe this is a good idea. However, we have not confirmed an exit, so we probably shouldn't waste our time.
Very well. But I will hold you to that at the end.
I can't make facial expressions because Tanith's face is entirely covered, so I can't say that he looks disgusted.
Yeah, and Grimm's kind of lacking in the facial expression department, considering, you can't really move or augment bone.
You can't make facial expressions for lack of a face.
He just like dips his finger in some charcoal and just draws on eyebrows.
He gets really angry.
Lewis, you're the
No,
last one to make facial expressions for us.
Only Aziza can make facial expressions.
Orson can, they're just slightly limited by the stitches.
Exasperation.
Ah, that's a good one.
It's the best one, really, isn't it, Matthew?
It's the best one until you make it 20 times a day, which is Matthew's situation.
No, I make it once a day and it just lasts the whole day.
He's the definition of, if you stay like that and the wind changes, your face will be like that forever.
He's a one-trick pony.
As you've got 2 doors left. One's locked, one you don't know because you've not been in it. At least
Let's
on
open
ground.
the one we don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll head to the one we don't know.
The nice and
That's a
easy
good idea.
one first. As opening these doors up, even before you enter into the room, this is a dining room. A long stretched table sits in a very ornately designed room, low-hanging chandelier in its centre, which is set for dinner.
Is there food there?
Nope, but everything is in its place. Plates are stacked for your starters and for your mains. You have 3 or 4 sets of cutlery either side, as well as dessert spoons and dessert forks. Wine glasses are there, as well as goblets and smaller glasses. Pitchers are on the table as if to be filled, but not filled quite yet. And there is a long stretch of table that sits across the big open glass windows that looks like it would have platters of food on it, but the food has not yet been delivered.
Looks like everything in this house has been paused in time. I wonder if this is... because it looks archaic, it could be pre or post-war. So, And Orson is now realizing that he hopes nobody heard that.
What war?
War?
Oh, what is a good fun?
Yes, war. War is very bad. I have a pal, I have a friend, he wrote a book about war, it's very good.
Please stop.
Don't say that Orson knew Sun Tzu.
Orson would not know fucking Sun Tzu.
But that's what
I wasn't gonna be referencing Sun Tzu. I was
gonna be War and
referencing
Peace.
Tolstoy.
Yeah. Orson and Tolstoy, BFFs for life.
God, this
Orson
version of
actually
history is
knew
awful.
Chekhov.
This version of history is terrible.
Knew Chekhov, and his gun was next door. So the room is set for dinner, but there's no food.
Not yet,
Damn.
or it would appear not yet, as it almost looks like this is the placements prior to the party arriving.
Well, there's nothing here we want. We best not lollygag. Let's get to the lock room.
Do
It's
any
just
of you
dining
need to
room.
eat, though?
I don't need to eat.
I do not have a stomach.
Do any of us need to eat?
One of us does.
Damn.
Diagonal, Matthew.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, where your portents
Took me a
would be.
second.
Think where your portents would be, that's where Lewis
Is
is.
it there?
Which way would I have to point?
Down that way.
So am I up like
Other
that?
side. There you go, now you're pointing at him. Craig, other way. There you go, now you're
Look
all
at this
pointing
loser.
at him.
Look at this loser over here. Needs to eat.
Boo. I needed to eat last session, but not anymore.
Because you leveled
I
up.
literally I leveled up out of the need to eat.
And I'm funny, so I don't need to eat.
You were built. You weren't born.
I'm quite literally built different.
Look at this. Look at this unit. So do we all just look at Aziza in that case?
I wouldn't eat here if I was being paid for it. I've heard the stories. Don't take food off an empty table.
I'm more meant it in a general sense. Do you need to eat? Period.
I do have that need, yes.
Good luck.
Thank
Right,
you.
next room. Because it's just the dining room, innit?
I'll just close the door.
Come on. What time did we get in here? I don't want to be stuck here till next Tuesday.
What is Tuesday?
Oh fuck! I have to explain it just Orson's eyes slightly widen, and it's the oh fuck! I have to explain the Gregorian calendar to someone. I have to explain fantasy Martin Luther to someone.
Every time Orson opens his mouth, he just sets up the rest of the party for more questions to ask.
Because this is really funny. Because Orson just like everything's normal for him. He never factor in that you guys wouldn't operate the way that he understands you don't have weapons that he has and technological advancement. Right.
I don't
Spoiler
even
alert.
have weapons.
Spoiler alert, everybody inevitably migrates to the same time measurements. It's called a week.
But I'm not weak. I'm strong.
Shut up.
No, that was a wonderful joke.
Thank you. I pat Aziz on the back very hard.
Something tells me that wasn't a joke. Let's go check the locked door. Because
We're
I
really
have
not
the
go-
key.
He really does just like saying things and then says nothing more on them.
It's difficult to elaborate because if I explain one thing, I have to use another thing, and I have to explain two other things to explain that other thing to explain the first thing.
Yes, but you talking them means anything that comes along will see you before it sees the rest of us.
Look, all I have to say, I should really preference most of my sentences with spoiler alert, but anyway.
As you guys head to the final door, well, I say final door, there is another locked door down here, but you check this door first.
Anyone who's near the back would just hear Tanith mutter that his time period sounds awful.
Joke's on you, my amazing. We got guns and shit.
Oh,
We got
fucking
guns and financial depression.
Both of those are inherently bad. This is coming from someone who likes guns.
Orson,
As,
me, his time period, depression.
as you are able to unlock this door with the key that you had retrieved, it would seem that the mechanism on the front of the key is enough to push through and push past the weighted pad that was stopping your lockpicks from getting in, and you can hear a rather satisfying click before another click follows and the door is opened. As Orson, you push it open and you head into a rather lavish office space, likely the estate office, where the lord of the house would come entertain his more business orientated guests as well as do business himself. Here there are some bookcases strewn across the walls, but the focal point, the centre point, is a rather large desk. This seems to be rather dusty. As do you guys go in to investigate?
What was that, sorry, Matthew?
I want to investigate. I'm an investigative guy.
An investigating guy.
There's a pun to be made there, but I'm not witty enough for it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Matthew, you're a skeleton, even if we don't know it. Would you like a skeleton friend with you?
You've got a bone to pick with this room.
I do.
Are you giving him ear?
It's if he wants a cat to help him.
I'm impartial to kitties.
Yeah.
He's impartial to kitten. No, you don't get my cat in that case. Fuck you.
It's not even your cat.
Fuck
Craig.
you. Fuck you, fuck you, uncats your skeleton.
Uncats your investigation.
Okay then.
That's what you get, Matthew.
Investigation without cat, Matthew.
I should clarify that the impartiality is exclusive to Grim. I am in fact very fond of cats.
Well, then
That's-
Grim doesn't get the cat. You could have
that's-
gotten the cat.
That's fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hated dogs.
Well, yeah, he's all bone.
Yeah.
So Grim, you kind of take to this room and starts, I guess, giving it a closer investigation. Upon first inspection, things that all of you will kind of be able to see, either looking through the doorway or getting into the room itself, you will be able to see that in amongst the bookcases on the back wall, not too far from a bay window, you can see a glass case. In it, there appears to be, I guess for all of you, though obviously you'll have seen this in varying forms, there appears to be almost a closed spyglass sat upon two brass forks in this glass case. Upon closer inspection with your investigation, Matthew, you will be able to see that attached to the glass case there is a mechanism, quite an advanced mechanism, not really something you have seen before, that appears to need some kind of code or input to unlock, as there are quite a lot of gears and you can see almost hollow tubes, glass tubes with a really thin, almost wire running through them that is attached to the bottom of the glass case. The mechanism seems to also be attached to that. Perhaps if you input the wrong code, something might go wrong. However, with your investigation, that's not the only thing as you're kind of wandering around the room that you see. As sitting upon the desk, there is a collection of papers that have been neatly organised, as well as a rather large and hefty folder that is sitting upon a shelf that is built into the desk, though obviously you can't see the contents as you've not taken it out. But the thing that is also very interesting is upon the desk, not too far from the collection of papers scattered upon it, is a fresh pot of ink. You'd assume that a house this old or a house this empty, the ink pot may be there, but the ink inside would be dry. This has not yet dried. It is still wet, and the quill that is also sat upon the desk is still dripping ink onto some parchment. As the rest of you, obviously, I assume, follow Grim into the room.
I don't feel I need to stay last in at this point, but yeah,
Tanith's last in.
conspicuously, but yes.
I would have followed him in.
As yes, you're all in this room, and you'll obviously be able to see Grim, I guess, perusing, wandering around, giving things a little bit of a once-over, giving things a look, and obviously you'll all be able to see this case with the spyglass sat inside of it.
A skeleton.
Spyglass.
I don't know why I heard skeleton.
There was
I mean,
a lot of
talking
skeleton talk.
Yeah.
Lots
We're
of
in-
going.
it's Halloween, spooky, scary skeletons.
Shivers down your spine.
Da-da-da.
Making skeletal shots.
I wish I knew more of the words for that.
I'll do a dramatic reading.
Oh, please don't.
Please do not. Wait. You said there's wires, right?
Oh,
Yes.
fuck's sake.
There's a fucking light bulb on this thing, isn't there?
It's small glass tubes with a wire running through the centre of it.
Oh. Some kind of coil.
And
Quite possibly.
Matthew, you said there was a way
A
to get
fucking
in
transistor! This is a transistor!
Code? Matthew, you
Science!
said, Matthew, do we need a code?
Dude, we need to hack into the mainframe and disable their algorithms.
Yes.
Oh, this isn't my territory.
In English, please. They're fucking us, sir. They're fucking us good.
In French, damn it. In Spanish. In Morse code. No, I'm... As much as I feel like I'm doing this a lot already this session, this seems a lot more modern, so annoyingly I'm leaving it up to Orson, which I'm okay with, and he's smiling. He knows it's him I'm talking about.
Science time.
Science
be-
bros. And we
go
go
be-
back to back.
Go be smart.
I take out my tinker's tools.
I watch.
He's emotional support.
And I walk up and I see what I can to kind of tinker around with it to see if I can get any parts moving.
Okay. If you've got it, sleight of hand, but obviously add your proficiency bonus on top of it. If not, it's just dex with proficiency bonus.
18.
Nice. So you start messing around with some of the cogs and the mechanism. You notice that there is 4 different cogs that rotate, each one of the spokes having a number on it, likely for a numbered code. You also notice that when you turn the cogs or even turn any of the mechanism, kind of taking your tools to poke in its insides, you notice that when it turns, the wire on the inside almost glows red for a moment before settling. But when you obviously play with it, obviously not putting in the right code, the red light never entirely disappears. It always stays there, a low humming almost. It's most likely if you input the wrong code, obviously realizing this and stop playing with the cogs, whatever is in that tube will likely heat up very, very quickly, and probably
That's cool.
explode.
Would I be able to use my tinker tools to examine the cogs and determine like grooves or like little pieces or like little perhaps there's some kind of tell in the cogs to tell which way they're meant to rotate together, perhaps using intelligence with my tinker's tools?
Give me an intelligence roll using your proficiency bonus.
Proficiency for tinker's tools,
Yeah.
or just proficiency for tinkers? Okay, I've been looking forward to this one. Turn it up. That's a 19 because I rolled an 8, but I got a plus 11.
Holy fucking shit.
So, you are able to... Well, you feel kind of bad about it as you end up almost bending one of your tools just to see if you can get it inside the cogs, just to see if you can find anything on the inside. And you are able to find perhaps 2 of them. 2 of them that seem to be, I guess, infrequently moved, to the point where they're pretty stuck in their place, at least where the correct number is, and you are able to at least get 2 numbers of the code.
And those are
5 and 4.
5 and 4, and in what order?
So it is. So the first one is 5, the second one is 4. You're missing the last 2, as you
Okay.
are not quite able to feel the grooves on those ones. So you're not able to quite grasp them. Almost as if those ones are just, whenever he's done it or whenever someone's unlocked it, it's almost just been a flick rather than an actual calculated click.
How many other numbers are there?
Only 2. It is a 4-digit code.
Okay,
And
possible
you've got numbers 0 to 9 on each
number
cock.
0.
For everyone else in the room, obviously Grim as well. Since you investigated the desk, you also have the papers on the desk as well as the personal file, if you were wanting to have a look whilst Orson is fiddling with the codes.
Indeed.
Wait, you.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to finish?
I
Alright.
was gonna say, no, you go.
Okay.
I've got
Okay.
the thing in my head. I've got the thing
Keep
in
it
my
there.
head.
Alright, go with it.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it. It's
Um,
gonna lose it.
As
Yeah.
what would you
I
look
can't
at
read.
first, Grim? Would you look at the papers on the desk, or would you go more for the personal file?
With the papers, because they're there.
Shuffling through some of the papers, just while you hear Orson almost clicking and fiddling around in the background, you notice that a lot of the papers here, not too unfamiliar from a state office, are dealing with the business, so the wealth of the property. You can see that the family Godfrey, or House Godfrey, has absurd amounts of money. It would appear that in every currency that you can possibly think of, as well as standardized gold, copper, platinum, silver, electrum, as well as some currencies you have never even heard of, they have an abundance of money. This seems to be going to the upkeep of the house, as well as the upkeep of the staff. Strange notation there, you have seen no staff, and yet for some reason there's been money funneled into paying for them. However, what is also interesting in these notes is where a lot of his money, or a lot of the house's money, is going, is alongside obviously just generalised upkeep for an estate house. There's also a lot of money being siphoned off for areas tagged as research and development. Now, I'm talking thousands, hundreds of thousands of gold, platinum, pounds, dollars, euros, from all over time it would seem, where the money is being thrown at whatever research and development is. It's never small amounts of money, it's not 50 here, 10 there, a few gold pieces on the weekend. It's always 4-digit sums, 5-digit sums, 6-digit sums, and counting. Where at times more money is put into this than is the estate house, than the upkeep of the family. Though, I guess if you start opening up the more personal file, you might get an insight into some research and development.
Yeah, sure. We're already not ransacking the place. We're already investigating the place. May as well be thorough.
I just want to ask, just for the sake of doing stuff in the background, is there a chair in this room?
There would be several. Is Tanith taking a
Okay.
seat?
Well, no. That's sort of the conspicuous thing. Even though there's a chair in the room, Tanith would just sit on the floor near the wall.
As
Clearly we're going to be here a while.
well, yeah, everyone's investigating the room.
So I'm getting comfortable, and I don't sit on chairs.
I'm well still on the chair.
As going through the personal accounts, you can get an insight into what perhaps research and development is, as it would appear that the Lord, so most likely the more recent Lord rather than his father, Wilfred Godfrey, was acquisitioning spellcasters and researchers. So not just magical men, but also scholars, alchemists, artificers, mechanical men, so engineers as well. You find supply notes looking at base materials, so things like iron or steel, as well as some more interesting metals such as copper or brass. Things that, at least for, well, your area of expertise, would be more used as magical ingredients rather than anything else. Copper is quite a base metal, it's not commonly used because it's quite soft, but apparently he needs a lot of it. But you also find a few pieces from, I guess, a more personal account, more personal dialogue pertaining to the spyglass that Orson seems to be fiddling around with, or at least the case that Orson seemed to be fiddling around with. As you read a personal note, perhaps written for his own memory or for his own recollection. As it reads, "For all I have taken in an attempt to fix the apparatus, I have still not found one able to complete it. It is too dangerous to stay together, and thus I have taken it apart. I have trusted one to my collector, and another I keep far from her. But this, the focus, he called it, I will keep locked away. Should I ever need it again, I will venture into the trophy room and find my first and my greatest achievement.
Did the stuff in the trophy room have dates on it?
The placards for the photographs and for the stuffed animals and creatures did have dates on them.
If Matthew shares that, we have a slight lead.
He's writing his notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware.
He's got the note face.
Would if you didn't keep making comments.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's funnier too sometimes.
Okay. That'll do for now.
For now.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. He'd sort of like look up, I guess, and sort of half over his shoulder to Orson and be like, "It seems that's part of a larger contraption."
Great, we've got an excellent. We have an inventor on our hands. Give me a second. I think I'm working with something, and Orson has pulled out his notebook and is currently writing down every single theoretical combination of numbers.
God fucking damn it.
Oh,
We might be here a bit.
If we know the first two numbers are 5, 4, and the last two numbers are like
Yeah.
blank, that means there's just 100 options.
Yeah, 5412, 5413, 5414, 5415, 5416, 5417, 5418, 5419.
Just
5410.
speak! Pointing
Keep
towards Grim.
The note said that if Lord needed it again, he would go to the trophy room and find. What was the wording?
Oldest and greatest.
The first of his achievements.
Trophy room. Go. You get back there.
As you guys head back to the trophy room with the clue of finding his first and greatest achievement, where do you start with?
I'm gonna investigate for what looks oldest.
I can't read, so I'm gonna let people read.
Cool.
Do a little investigation to see which looks the most aged.
Give me a roll.
I can't read, I just can't read that well.
What's that?
11.
You are able to, I guess, find a couple of them. Not so much statues or what's the word, taxidermies that look the oldest, though there are some photographs that look very old with the dates underneath them being even older. The earliest number that you can find, the earliest date that you can find, is a photograph of an older gentleman standing atop the corpse and body of a lion, which is dated from 1672. However, the problem that you have with your investigation is you are unable to determine whether this is the current lord, the one that would own the property, or his father. So you
Do
don't.
they look the same in photos?
They look similar in photos. You would have to, I guess, try and match them a bit more closely to find the lord's earliest.
Do we have a photo of someone who we know is the Lord and not the Lord's father?
The closest you would have is the photo of him or the painting of him that you will have seen in the hallway. However, you're missing his face, as the face of that painting is missing. It's been cut away.
Well, that's fantastic.
Though for Grim, obviously you took that photo, examined that photo a little bit more, I guess, closely, or the painting a little bit more closely, as you were the one to hear the click and find the clue after the guy has replaced the chess piece. You remember the Lord, at least in that photo, wearing quite a standoutish coat that might be closer to his style of design, that very stark red oxblood leather jacket. That perhaps if you were to go around and start to examine some of the photographs, you might find the one, I guess, key identifier that you know at the moment to be Lord Wilfred in comparison to his father.
That sounds like a plan then. Just investigate again for the oldest photo, but specifically the oldest one with the red coat in it.
You make us aware of that fact, Matthew.
I will make you aware of that fact.
Cool. Whilst Matthew's doing that to assist him, this time he does get the cat. I'm going to send the cat around to to attempt to find said coat.
Give me an investigation, Matthew. And Ia gives advantage, Greg?
Yes, I'm giving him the help action.
Nice.
Essentially, the cat will be flying around,
2 KH1.
showing him which ones have the red coat.
Nice. With that, you are able to find, I guess, quite a young image with that stark red coat. It also helps as the images of both quite a young him, so quite a young version of the Lord, probably 14, 15 years old, wearing that very identifying red jacket, as well as him with his father, though it is the Lord who is holding the gun next to the creature. It looks like some kind of, I guess, horse or deer. Its rear end is that of a zebra, and the front end looks more like that of a stag, though its antlers seem to be cut short. You're not quite sure what it is, but it looks interesting nonetheless. The date on the bottom of the photograph is 1854.
1884.
1854.
1854.
That is still, like, hundreds of years after my time period.
One other thing that you will have noticed, Matthew, going around with your 25, obviously with the assistance of Ia, is she will have taken you to every photograph with that red coat. Obviously, through process of elimination, you were able to find the earliest one. However, out of the about 37 different photographs in this room, 25 of them had that red coat in them.
That's a specific number. Don't know if it would be important, but it's specific.
Mm-hmm.
What was the exact hint again?
Should I ever have need of it again, I will venture into the trophy room to find my first and my greatest achievement.
Okay, so that could mean that it's like the first and greatest, but it could also mean that we're looking for the first and we are also looking for his greatest. I know, it's just the specificness of the and. Feel free to ignore that.
I mean,
No,
that
that
would
makes sense. That makes sense because it's the end.
that would
of the
line up
game.
because you take.
The first is 54.
Mhm. Yeah.
But what would we denote the greatest to be? Unless he killed his father and it's in one of these photos.
Is it in one
That'd
of
be
these
kind of
ones?
grim.
Matthew, why?
I saw the opportunity and I took it.
You shouldn't have. You almost killed me. Yeah, that's a dumb question, Em, but is it any of these photos him killing his own father?
No.
So.
I had to check. Well, I've made my suggestion, so it's just whether anybody can follow up on that. I could try look around for something I'd consider the greatest, but it was Grim who read through his personal accounts, so it's whether there's anything there that might help, or if we're just kind of in the dark.
Who is the best expertise with the magical creatures? I knows which one is the hardest to kill, or whatever.
Yeah, no, my knowledge of magic is lacking despite being a caster.
Yeah. I kinda just
Do it. Charisma casting gang.
I can look around.
In that case, I'd turn to Orson, I suppose, and just say, you mentioned hunting, what, witches, wizards?
Yes. Oh,
Have-
all
Any experience with beasts?
occasional. We're gonna have to. Now, what does it mean by great?
Potentially we should just start easy, which would be the most difficult to kill. It's not like any of us are starving for a meal today.
Yes.
Do you want to give me
Could
an
we gr-
investigation, Aziza? Just so the boys are having their conversation.
You caught him off guard.
I did, but he did also say that he was looking around, so she is looking around. 19. Whilst Orson and Tanith are having the conversation in the background, whilst they're having a discussion over which creatures would perhaps be the, I guess, most prestigious to kill, which would be the most most difficult to kill, trying to focus in on what he could have killed as well, not just his father, not really getting anywhere. You start taking a look around, start pacing around, I guess following the same tracks as Grim, and you are able to note, I guess, the same thing that he was, obviously without Ia's assistance, however, is that in this room, obviously you have your trophies, you have your statues, which are quite difficult to denote who killed which. The photographs are a lot more solid of an answer. Again, you note that there are 37 photographs, and of 25 of them, the Lord appears in the photos as the one killing the creatures. Every other photograph seems to have his dad in it. It would appear he has a lot more photographs than his father.
Got nothing.
Just drawn attention to that number twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can only help on a primitive level as well. My intelligence is surmised in what Tanith has done before. It's not this.
Just to double check, was the personal note signed at all?
No.
No. Okay. That would have been helpful.
The only reason that I can at least give you the notion that you would know that this would be the more recent Lord, so Wilfred, would be through because it is the business office, it is the estate office, the personal accounts would have bore his seal, and these were in his, obviously, folder of personal accounts.
Right.
So whatever this apparatus is, that's him, not his father.
Right, okay. We definitely do know he's the younger one.
Again, the only thing I can contribute with is what looks the hardest to kill, but the smart people in the room, to my knowledge, are Orson and Grim. I mean, I know it's not Buckethead.
I'd take offense.
I think you were meant to.
If you take offense, Paul, use that offense and spur yourself forward with it.
Give me the solution. What is the answer to the puzzle? This is when our audience understand why I don't give you boys puzzles very often.
Commenting furiously, these idiots!
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Andrew. We appreciate you.
Lewis, actually, what is your intelligence? Will you be able to help here?
No. I mean, you can see my intelligence. Look at my investigation roll. It's not awful. It's not good.
It's just nothing was added to it.
Yeah.
It gave him the entire notion that he notices things, but he doesn't really know she doesn't know what to do with them.
If no one's doing anything, Tanith, more frustrated than anything else, is just gonna walk around all the pictures and look for the biggest fucking animal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is it might actually be the largest one.
The biggest animal. Give me an investigation, Craig.
Right.
Because you're really good at these.
The only reason this is a positive is because it's my only intelligence proficiency. An 11. Actually, can I give myself the help action on that from my cat?
You can, yes.
Thank you. Generous GM. That's even lower, it's an 11.
It's an 11. So you kind of go around trying to find the pictures, as that seems to be what Aziza and Grim are looking at. At least that way you can kind of, I guess, get a feel for who killed what creature. You obviously look for a one that pertains to the Lord, this coat, quite a stark red oxblood coat, and you find him probably when he's quite older. It would say on the placard, you're not too sure about the words or the lettering, but the way that it is phrased seems similar to dragon. The picture looks, I guess, a lot more like a dragon without wings, really, where it seems to be coiled up and he is standing upon it. You can see that he's severed several of the horns on his face and is more holding them up in victory. The date on that seems to be slightly later in his life, where it appears to be killed in the year 1904.
Oh fuck, that's more recent. Tanith would more just shout, any of you?
So it seems like it might be 04 then. Does that seem right?
Listen, I am going to level with you. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm expecting any of you who have half a brain more for this sort of thing to be able to work it out. This isn't my field. If this room needed an entire reorganization, that is my field. Not finding out what the greatest or oldest kill is.
If 04 makes sense, then 04 makes sense.
Then thank you.
5404. We'll go through, and we'll see if that's correct.
Who's putting it into the mechanism?
Buckethead, you do it.
Thank you, Orson, for trusting me with this.
Remember, 5, 4, those are fixed, you don't move those. 0, then 4.
I enter in those that code.
Janet in exasperation is both waiting outside and has become a small huddle on the ground, hands on their face.
Can you roll me a D100, Paul?
It's a great dice.
As for yourself, Buckethead, you flick the numbers, obviously leaving the two that Orson told you not to leave and flicking the other ones to 04. To which case you hear clicks, obviously as the cogs are turning and falling into place. And you then watch as the tube that runs around the inside of the box, the wire running through the inside starts to go red as you flick it to the 0, and it starts to get hotter and brighter as you then flick it to the 4, and it gets hotter and it gets brighter as you then, all of you will be able to hear a long, very dramatic cracking noise as the tube starts to burst and break all the way through, all the way around. The case, for your thankful head, Buckethead, because this is a little bit of damage, but not for you, as the case itself does not shatter, it does not break, it is likely warded, obviously preventing you from breaking into it. Thankfully none of you did that. But it also prevents Buckethead from getting injured, as the 4 of you, Buckethead obviously jumping back as this is an eruption of fire, will be able to see inside of the case suddenly engulfed in flame.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Tanith would have been barreled down by me running from the room.
I am huddled next to the door, so you might trample over one of my bandages.
Let's say I trip on one of those.
Alright, go ahead and trip. Give me a strength save, Paul, see if you get wrapped up in it thanks to my new little magic thing. It'd be funny if you did, but it'll be funny if you did.
I think that's the DC, isn't it?
That's the DC. We don't get tangled in it.
Buckethead goes careering out of the door, almost gets tangled up in one of Tanith's bandages and clatters and smacks into the opposing wall, where the spyglass, whatever this may have been, for Grim, the piece of this apparatus, whatever that may be, seems to now be a pool of melted brass and copper at the bottom of this case.
I feel that was not the right thing to do.
Well then.
Yeah, are you sure? You know, I'm not entirely sure. You know, it is
Sorry,
melting slag, but that just may be a slight inconvenience.
Sorry, Lewis, what was that?
Awesome. What the fuck did we just do this for then?
Well, I'm sorry for fucking assuming incorrectly, right? I'm sorry that this mansion's owned by a fucking pedant who I want to kick his fucking cunt in when I see him.
Well, why
No, we're
don't we
definitely
go
not
do
getting
that
motivated.
rather than fucking about with whatever this was?
Question M, would this now molten pool of slag be considered a corpse?
No.
Then I cannot speak with it.
And I need the 5 of you to give me a perception check.
Ah, fucking fantastic.
Fucking fantastic.
Because we needed this.
Ooh.
That's a 16.
5.
Should I give my cat one too, by the way?
Yeah, give EO 1 as well.
Come on, you little imp.
14, 8, 11.
It's just +1 for Ia. That's a
13.
13 for Ia. Nice.
I don't need those ones. So
The goths rolled the highest.
yeah, literally my 2 goths.
Goth.
Craig, Aziza, the
Wait,
rest
why
of you.
don't... What? Craig and Aziza?
Sorry,
Strange.
I was gonna say Craig and Lewis, and then my brain went nope, Aziza. So Tanith,
Aziza
Aziza.
now.
You are Aziza, and always
You should
Lewis.
You should return to it on Discord, Lewis.
I will.
As for the two of you, you are able to hear this. Obviously, Ia gets a slight startle, not because she hears it, but obviously you hear it, and the two of you are connected. The house seems to spark and come to life. Perhaps this was the first thing you guys have done in this house that will have really triggered it to awaken to some degree, as you start to hear movement. And for Buckethead on the outside, it's almost as if you can feel people going past you, almost like a cold breeze. And slowly, spectres begin to materialise, paying you no mind as they are garbed as servants. But the house seems to become much more active. The worrying thing for Tanith and Aziza, and amongst people now moving around this house, you can also hear a very loud dragging noise.
Oh, if I hear that, can I turn to Grim for a second? So before something shows up and tries to murder us, you said there was a cellar?
In the pantry, yes.
So before whatever that is shows up, perhaps we should head there.
That is the only other room left.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to die. As Tanith, for the first time leading, starts heading towards the pantry.
Do people follow Tanith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If everyone else does, then yes.
Well, yeah, if you don't, you'd be on your own, Aziza, and wouldn't that be awful?
Yeah. that
Don't
would
give
be
in to peer
amazing.
pressure, Lewis. Be your own person.
He would,
No, he's
but
petrified.
she's kind of scared of that.
Maybe I will just stay paralyzed in fear until I am all on my own, and then fucking die.
Are you gonna do that?
It's an option.
Fucking, that sounds funny.
What was that?
I am completely fucking scared out my boots.
You are the master of your own destiny.
Until
I'm
someone
not
drags you and
certain
takes you
how
along.
Again.
Are you that strong, Lewis? Would someone be able to drag you off?
Okay. So,
Mhm.
for my 4 boys, who are
Lewis is
leaving,
staying.
since Lewis is sticking to his guns and is staying put, the 4 of you obviously leave the room. It's kind of a commonality at this point that you all kind of follow each other, so it doesn't even cross your mind that Aziza doesn't follow you. She usually holds back, and then obviously Tanith follows after, but because Tanith is leading, it doesn't actually strike any of you that Aziza is not following. She usually follows the back anyway. As you head down the corridor and towards the kitchen, where the kitchen door is swinging open, back and forward, as you see several of these almost, I guess, possessed or charmed spectres, these ghostly figures, just carrying platters, carrying jugs full of wine, carrying plates of fresh food, heading down the corridor and towards the dining room, heading down the corridor and towards the dance hall, where, whilst acknowledging your existence, they see you as something more than them. They treat you as if you were a guest of the Lord, perhaps. Stepping out of your way, clearing a path, avoiding eye contact, they ignore you entirely. As you pass through the doors of the kitchens and go towards the pantry, where, obviously Tanith, you are first and the others are following you. You head into the small pantry and you see the shelving unit. So when Grim and Buckethead, you guys were there was loads of shelves that had fresh food on them. One of them has been completely knocked over, quite close to the archway, just as if something relatively large has knocked into it, caught it and just pulled it down. And you notice that the trapdoor, the chains, have not been unlocked, they have burst. The padlock is still locked and attached to the chains, but the chains themselves, these hefty metal links that Buckethead could barely shift with a kick, have been burst open. And the door is also open. Guess who's on his own, Lewis?
I'd sort of turn back to the party in that case and just say, well, at the very least, whatever is out there now is not in here. So would one of you 4 like to... And just stopped for a second, looking over the party. Did one of you plan to stay behind?
No.
No!
It's all Grim has to say, just...
Because I think this thing is pretty strong. At least last time I checked.
I hope it's what I think it is.
Oh no, it's a Constitution saving throw. Can I get a Constitution saving throw, Aziza?
I hope we hear this.
I mean, maybe.
Just scream, Lewis.
I mean, if he passes, he then has the option of screaming.
Hope that's a pass.
It is a pass.
One.
As you are in the room on your own, you kind of come to a state of consciousness after the kind of, I guess, shock of the explosion, of the house coming to life, of the ghosts starting to appear, the noises, the scraping. Everyone is gone. You are on your own in the estate office, where you can hear the scraping still until you don't anymore. And then, almost like a sweet aromatic perfume, the room starts to begin to fill with almost a scent of lavender, but slightly rotting lavender, almost attempting to get into your mind and almost seize up your body, where it doesn't work, and you then notice that it's not quite lavender, it's not quite a sweet scent, and instead it is almost the scent of rot, decay, and congealed blood, where you find yourself not alone in the room anymore. As standing in now quite a ruined doorway, how that occurred you have no recollection, is perhaps 12-15 foot tall creature. Very hulking mass, partially covered in metal, though only for protruding, I guess, bone and spikes upon its back that seems to still have parts of creatures still hefted upon it.
Oh no.
Where,
Oh no!
as very similar to Buckethead, but without a purpling mist, instead it has piercing red eyes and almost a red mist that reminds you a little bit of Tanith covered in its body, allowing it to move and creak as these piercing red eyes of this face hunches over and stares down at you, noticing that you are still awake and not paralysed on the floor.
Let's fucking not.
Just stares at you, and you hear a relatively guttural voice behind it as these almost gauntleted claws start to creak and reach out towards you, as it says nothing else other than pretty.
Buckethead.
As will a 23 hit you, Aziza?
It will, yeah.
We have to fight this thing.
1, 2. Oh no, I dropped it. I'll roll this one twice.
Well, guys, fun short campaign. It was nice to have you, Lewis.
Yeah.
It's very fun being here.
We'll have you again soon.
You take 16 bludgeoning damage, so not a lot of damage.
Okay.
As you're now grappled by this thing, as it just holds you in its hands. You are now permitted to scream if you want.
You needed
What the
permission.
Fuck are you?
Oh, no scream. Interesting. It kind of looks at you, holding on to you. It lifts you off the floor slightly.
Oh no. No. Just kind of grab its arm like.
It's kind of like the King Kong thing of like just lifts you to stare at you more. Straightens up its back. You are now maybe 2-3 feet off the ground. Your legs kind of dangling as you hang on to it. It doesn't respond to you. Instead, you can see it almost shuffling its feet in this very small room as it starts to turn around. Still holding you out in front of it. As it just repeats the phrase, pretty.
Put me down. Drop it. Drop. Put me. Stop. Stop. I will have to take drastic measures if you don't put me down. please.
I don't think it's going to put you down.
No, it's not going to put her down. As
What's your drastic measures, Lewis?
I'll give it a few seconds.
I'm assuming a 22 would hit as well, yeah?
Yeah, it would.
This is gonna hurt. Just saying.
Probably more than I can handle.
40 damage.
Cool. So, just a quick thing. Like, as whatever he was doing, throughout, I'm kind of like, it was your last warning, and I just kind of start trying to cast some kind of spell, kind of red, bright energy starting to form around my hand, and then he does whatever he does, and I'm limp. Wait, how does the massive damage instant death work?
It's only if it takes you down to negative your maximum hit points.
Max, not half max. Okay, so then I'm
No, full max.
cool.
As for yourself,
I
as
am
you
limp though.
as you start to obviously cast your magic, you'll have seen him shift you over to one hand. Obviously, as you've got a little bit more freedom, you start to panic and start to conjure your magic, giving him his last warning, where he starts to lift you up even more in one hand and just pops you on his back as you are impaled in one of his spikes. Where can Tanith, Orson, Buckethead, and Grim give me perception checks?
I will also make one for Cat, yes.
One for Ia, too.
That's a 10 and a 17. Because of course my cat rolls better than me.
15. So, Orson, Grim, and Ia, and subsequently Tanith.
Just everyone but Buckethead.
You guys, obviously in the pantry, suddenly noticing obviously Aziza not being there. You then hear this background dragging noise stop. Obviously white noise as you guys have been walking, trying to avoid whatever it is. It seems to disappear. And then all of a sudden you just hear thud, thud, thud on one of the walls in the corridor. A almost crumbling noise, as if something has given way, as if something has moved around. And then silence.
Buckethead, I think you're needed in the corridor.
Are we sure about that?
I distinctly heard, what was her name? Yes, Aziza calling for you.
Very well. I open the kitchen's door and see what's in the hallway.
You notice that outside of the estate office, there has been quite a lavish rug, nice furniture, obviously strewed around these corridors. You notice that part of the floor almost looks like it has come away, ripping the rug, destroying one of the dressers. And like the window you smashed earlier, the floorboards seem to have knitted themselves back together. As if something has gone through the floor, but then the house has repaired itself in the aftermath.
And it's not like I'm just witnessing it just about to close up. It's not like there's still a hole there.
Nope, it's almost as if in the interim as something was thudding, it's just closed up after it. Newly repaired floorboards.
It would appear that whatever was in the hallway has found itself on the floor below.
What I am doing in the time Buckethead is out looking there is Grim and Orson would see me walk by towards the pantry door, just muttering to themselves, I am getting out of here now, and jumping down into the pantry.
Buckethead would return to the kitchen. I think we need to go downstairs. Where's Tanner? We lost Aziz already. Where's Tanith?
Grim points.
A hole in the floor.
Well, there, jump down.
As Orson, Grim, do you jump down too?
Might as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to make the mistake of standing here in fear, because it didn't work out well for Aziza.
Really? You don't say.
I think it worked out quite fantastically, actually.
To be
He got
fair,
himself a new friend.
you've got yourself a friend who thinks you're very pretty.
I'm not
This is
sure
just-
how much I appreciate that.
You'd appreciate it a
And
bit more if it was your husband.
Probably, yeah.
As for the 5 of us, because I need some more juice and now have quite a hell of a cough after I sneezed, we will take a short break, and hopefully my 4 boys can rescue Lewis.
Hopefully.
Our literally only woman to ever be in our campaign, immediately in distress.
Yep.
Really, really breaking down those gender norms.
I'll make you the
Okay.
damsel in distress next time, Paul.
Yes, please.
As-
Come save.
Don't do that ever again. As we will see you all after our short break. coming back from the break. Aziza is unconscious. My boys are in the basement, unbeknownst and unknowing where Aziza actually is. As for the four of you, you guys head down into the cellar, into the basement, and find yourselves in a wine cellar. So, a rather large space full of old-fashioned wine casks stacked 3 high, pretty much along the wall and interspersed between columns. The thing that you, I guess, will be able to identify, at least in terms of an oddity, for those of you with at least a +1 in intelligence. There are 5 columns in this room, though one of them is built into the wall. So there are 4 supporting columns and there is 1 other column, but rather than taking a supporting role, it is built into the actual wall itself. Tanith, you've obviously just walked to the other side of the room, as to avoid everyone. There doesn't seem to be a way forward, there doesn't seem to be a way out of this wine cellar. It just seems to be a cellar for wine and spirits. As what do the 4 of you do?
I will go up to the back wall, slam it for a second, scream because that would fucking hurt with the amount of strength Tanith has,
Also,
and then slump on the floor.
you are just bandages and skeleton bones.
Yes.
Damn.
There's an audible crack.
Damn, you suck. Anyway. So what the fuck we're gonna, well, we need to fucking... That thing can't have gone far, right? It can't have gone far. There's no way it's gone far. It's big, lumbering, stupid. Are you related to it, perchance, Buckethead?
I have no relatives, as I was built.
And where you were built? Doesn't
And
answer my question.
I'm not very sure.
Of course you're not.
How is this relevant? As Tanith would more just stand up from the
I
side of
don't
the room.
fucking know, right?
Aren't we trying to get away from this thing, not look for it?
But it's taking an ally, a valuable ally.
There's nowhere else to go in here. It stops right here. So wherever it's gone, it's fucking vanished. As you'd almost see Tanith does like a small religious gesture on themselves after swearing.
Knowing I obviously saw where this thing went below and the floor sort of paired itself. Would I work out the general direction of where that hole would have been?
So, if it's on the same level as you, it would probably be
If it is.
through the sort of northern wall of the wine cellar. If it is a floor below you, then it would kind of be in the same direction, but obviously underneath you.
I wouldn't know if it's like on the same floor or below
No.
below us, but I would assume it's on the same floor as me.
You kind of take that it's at least, if you were to attempt to bash your way through the cellar wall that is directly in front of you guys, so the northern wall, you would be able to, if there was another room there, a false wall or anything like that, you'd be able to knock through, and it would probably be in that area under there.
If it fell through the floor and I'm trying to like map out and like no. Should be over in this direction, so we must head this way. Points at the blank wall.
Hey, fantastic! Go ahead!
I start knocking on the wall, trying to find like a hidden passage, some kind, you know.
Give me an investigation.
Oh, I'm not good at these. Never mind.
God.
Right, you're clearly not getting anywhere. Let me have a look.
What?
You're rolling that 20!
Oh, did he?
You're rolling that 20, Ewan!
I wasn't looking at the thing. I was just assuming that he didn't get
I
it.
literally did the opposite.
You were just assuming that Paul rolled what Paul normally rolls and failed the check.
Apologize, Ewan.
I'm sorry, Paul.
You are forgiven.
I also
For
assumed
now.
from your reaction, you went, "Oh." I thought like
I said I'm very bad at these, and then I went, oh, never mind.
It's like me at the start of our Halloween sessions where I just assumed that Paul's character is going to be bad at everything because Marcus starts kind of bad at everything.
I think you guys need to start digging.
Wow, it's really dark down here.
To
I
be fair,
just misheard. My thing is I just misheard.
That's fine.
As with a nat 20, you kind of start rapping on the wall, you kind of start tapping it, and it gets quite echoey, especially obviously because you are made of metal, so you're rapping metal against stone, until you get to the centre column, which is built into the wall. So on the north wall and kind of centre of that wall, you feel, obviously it is still made of stone, but it seems to be a lot thinner stone, almost made of slate, where you even notice that upon the ground around the column there is scuff marks as if the wall actually rotates. As in addition with your nat 20, from this perspective, as you start looking around, obviously pushing the wall to see if you can move it, doesn't quite move, but at either side of the room, one on the far left pillar and one on the far right pillar, you see two sconces that have not been lit.
This pillar appears to be able to move. Notice the scuff marks on the ground. See, I can investigate too, Orson.
Excellent.
All outpost.
Sorry. I would at first try to grab the thing and try and move it in any sort of way. Twist it, turn it, push it,
Bop it.
pop it, pull it.
So many potential memes from this session.
Doing it that way, it doesn't shift.
Blast. It's terribly dark in here. Could someone, perhaps, other than myself, produce some light?
Can you produce fire? Can anyone produce... oh, why would I ask
Like,
that?
does anyone have matches?
Surprisingly, being dressed entirely like this, I lack such equipment.
Yeah, where are your... Do you not have pockets?
Neither my skin nor bandages possess pockets. Is that strange where you're from?
I mean, I don't have pockets either, but I at least have a sword.
This is all I have. As he just gesture at the bandages.
What about you, Kitty? And you, little Kitty, do you have anything that could start to give us some light?
The second you start doing that, Ia just hisses.
Oh, no, no.
Can she actually, though? No. I mean, she could transform into a rat, raven, or spider.
Neither of those can produce a flame.
Oh, well,
Matthew?
some rats can breathe fire.
Matthew, do you have anything?
I can produce flame-like radiance with sacred flame.
Will that ignite a sconce?
No.
No.
Well, we're a little scuffed then, aren't we? Is there anything nearby to be able to start a fire with?
There's a lot of alcohol.
Do I have a fucking lighter?
You would have essentially like flint and steel style.
If I try that, just like holding it out, and I'm like,
As lighting one of the sconces, or attempting to light one of the unlit sconces, you are able to light it, though it quickly seems to go out. It seems that the sconce itself has no tar in it, as if it's almost not even used as a sconce.
that makes sense. I pull it to one side.
It drops down, and you can hear a click.
What was
See
that?
anything?
Nothing occurs, though.
Can I pull the other one?
You go to the other side of the room and pull the other one, and you hear a click, and nothing happens. As the one that you pulled goes back to its original position.
Right.
Alright.
Someone pull that one while I pull this one. We'll try doing it at the exact same time.
Shoot Buckethead over to it.
I grab one are we going on 3?
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Wait, were we doing it now, or were you running at 3?
We're doing it now.
Okay.
Now.
I thought you said on 3.
Now!
Bloody sconce!
I want to get it done right.
Can I
So,
cast
do we go-
suggestion
do
on
we-
Buckethead to make him pull the fucking sconce?
We're doing it now.
Do we go on
3,
3 or we go on now?
3, 2, 1, now. Pull it.
So wait, that was the now.
What's your save for suggestion, Craig?
Paul, make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, that's yeah. 9.
You have been suggested to pull the fucking sconce, so pull it.
And
Okay,
Orson
I
will
pull
pull it at the same time.
Was it actually at the same time?
It would have been, yeah. As at least whilst you fall under Tana's suggestion, Grim and Orson will be able to watch as Tanith obviously screams at him, I suggest you pull the fucking sconce.
There's no I suggest you pull the fucking sconce, it's just pull the fucking sconce.
As the light behind Buckethead's eyes, this very almost luminescent purple, starts to swirl and turn red, and then he pulls the sconce afterwards.
As on Tanith, the sort of bandages that are wrapping around the red eye sort of have runes glowing around them in a similar sort of red tone that sort of move and bend, which then do start appearing overworld. The runes, not the bandages, start appearing on Buckethead as he pulls the sconce. That's such a waste of a single spell slot, and I love it.
It is, yeah. As you both pull the sconces and the wall rotates, giving you a gap either side where you'll be able to see a set of stairs going down, where, completing your suggestion, Buckethead, you are released from Tanith's charm, knowing that you have been charmed.
I do not appreciate that you took control of me. I'm an independent being, and I do not take orders from anyone else.
And was pulling the sconce so difficult?
I didn't want us to not do it at the same time. I wanted to make sure, was it on 3 or on now?
Buckethead, is the job done?
I mean, I turned to see. Yeah, the door is open now.
Then, please, quiet.
I would suggest for future that you stay out of my head. Those are Buckethead's thoughts. They're mine alone.
Believe me, first off, I was not in your head. Secondly, I have no desire to ever be in there.
Concerned, Buckethead would take his helmet off, just carry it by his side to keep it like.
Keep his thoughts
You
close.
stay out. Yes. When I take off my helmet, you would see that I literally don't have a head. I'm just a helmet.
No, fantastic.
And
he's the Dullahan now.
The lights would go out of the helmet, except though it still radiates through the rest of the body, but the head would be inanimate.
I'd like to imagine the tiny bits of mist just make a tiny eyes just floating above them.
No.
And
I would go through the stairs.
Yeah, I was going to say the four of you head down the stairs. Which order do you go down the stairs?
I go first.
I'll go second.
Grim, then Tanith?
Yeah.
You have me pegged already.
Excuse me.
Hush, Paul.
Oh.
As the four of you head down the stairs, Buckethead obviously you leading, and you come down into quite a narrow corridor, a few offshoot rooms where you can see, rather than wooden doors, it is a lot more like stone doors. For yourself, Tanith, it is a lot more similar to something you would find in Pharaoh's chambers, or even in his tomb, that kind of smooth, not, I guess, traditionally coloured sandstone, but a lot more grayscale sandstone, at least a lot of the textures down here, the iconography even being similar to that of your master. Where the moment you guys hit the ground in the corridor, to a room on your right hand side, you start to hear a lot of vicious barking. Though, taking that as you will, at least for the moment, the corridor opens up on your left hand side with quite an elaborate archway. Again, decor very similar to yourself, Tanith, as you see a very well lit room full of red hues, as removing this, I guess, electrical white light, you're back to traditional fire, as this room is very reminiscent to that of Pharaoh. It is a room where, similar to the style that he would have once been buried in, it is a room for preparing the dead, a mass amount of the dead. Where...
So essentially... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was just going to say, from moving into, like the dog pulled themselves in on themselves a lot, seeing this room almost relax slightly, and then seeing it's just it's not where he's supposed to be, back to retreating into himself.
It's not quite the same. It carries a lot of the same iconography, a lot of the same, I guess, runic symbols, a lot of the same perhaps magics that you are familiar with, or at least from your master you are familiar with. As centre in the room, you can see a collection of different bodies, perhaps a little bit more alive bodies, and not upon anything or, I guess, decorated with anything, more slumped to one side, you can see Aziza's body. And you can also see in the light of the sconces the shadow of a very, very large creature. As the four of you stand in this corridor, what do you do?
Well,
Buckethead would-
potentially we might want to be out of here.
Buckethead would don his helmet again. The orange, no, not the orange, the purple light returning to his helm. Like, no man or woman left behind.
Do you go in to go and get her?
Yes, I go to go get her.
Nice.
Tanith would sigh, look back at the way they came, pull himself even further on himself, and follow after Buckethead.
What's your passive perception, Paul?
12.
And I'm assuming a 14 doesn't hit you.
That does a 14 hit me? No, it does not.
Laughs in Marcusar.
Shut up.
He's
No.
enjoying it, let him have his high AC.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It's. I've never felt this strong before.
Yes, let the hate flow through you.
Yes!
Let the marshal throw
Come on.
through you.
I'm
Um,
just like, hit me again! Come on, do it! I
It's
want you
great
to do it,
until
I
they
want you
actually
to
hit you. It's great until they actually hit you, though.
23. Oh, that does hit me, yeah.
as
Nah, yeah, that's
you
the reality.
step into the room, head through to the centre of the room, obviously to pick up Aziza. You go in, obviously, to go and collect her, and seemingly out of nowhere, out of the corner, a rather large hand comes round the corner and attempts to clatter into you. You are able to get out of the way. How you're not too sure, as the size of this thing and the speed of this thing is quite incredible. As a familiar mist, a familiar glow, seems to pass over you, though not in the same colour, as yours is obviously purple. This one is a very vibrant red. Tanith, as this creature comes into view, it's, or at least the magic that seems to bind it, it seems to be very similar to that of you and Ia. As for, well, the four of you who are conscious, you see a 12 to 15 foot creature hulking over, mostly made up of flesh, a similar creation to yourself, Orson, by the looks of things, though made for a very different purpose, as protruding from its back is pipes and spikes and cracked bone that seem to be collecting various different cadavers, or at least the remains of cadavers that have been torn and shredded, as it's literally attempted to pick things up and put things back down, and it's not very graceful at it. As it stares at the four of you, and you see a very similar, I guess, mark of injury on Aziza, as it's likely impaled her and brought her down here. For what reason, you don't know, but it doesn't seem very happy with the four of you being here. As I need the five of you, you included, Lewis, to roll me some initiative.
Let's go!
Some fair man's dead.
So fucked.
Well, depending on when he goes, he's going to start dying.
Wait, what? Why is there 2 exclamation points in there?
I don't know, why is there?
I literally just, using the dice roll as 1d20 plus minus 1.
Plus minus 1.
Okay, ignore that 33.
All's on fire tonight.
No, I'm using up all the I'm using all the d20s for nothing.
So the first one's me, the second one's my cat.
Yeah. So...
It's my cat.
Yes. As 1, 2, 3, 4 are not quite here yet, but top of initiative is Paul.
Cool.
Oh, it's not on the map with us.
Where is this thing? Located on the map?
It would be nice to have it on the map.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries.
There you
I'm
go.
assuming this room
I'll
is to
make
scale.
Marcusar feel better.
No, you need to make him bigger.
Here's
be
a
a
large.
chunky.
Here's a large mark, sir.
Look at him.
As yes, this is the cadaver collector.
Okay.
Hi, Marcus. Sorry.
As what do you do, Paul? Now that I popped a token for the thing on the room.
Okay. Seeing this giant beast towering over myself and even Orson, let's bring you down to our level, and I would like to cast grease at his feet.
Oh. Oh, what a
Let's go.
good spell.
So,
Okay.
It's a deck save.
Yeah. Each creature standing in the area must exceed. Well, I imagine it's a 10-foot square.
Yeah,
That
so you
dude
can-
looks
you
for
can-
10 foot.
You can cover its radius or its sphere.
Yes. Can I? Yeah, dex saving throw, please.
21.
Ugh. That's like double what the DC was.
That's depressing.
Maybe I should up my int.
What are you in currently, Paul?
0.
Are you an Eldritch Knight?
Yeah. I rolled very bad.
I mean, I'm assuming your strength is good.
Oh, my strength is very good. Maybe I should put my ASI into int. It would have made a difference.
Let's see if
Anyway.
we live this first.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's fine. Let's just keep them in the fucking grease.
Does that do anything to him?
If he ends his turn there, he has to keep making dex saves.
Nice.
He has to fail 1. That was my first action. Can I extra attack?
No.
No.
You can only extra
No.
attack if you take the attack
Attack.
action.
I'm not able to attack because I used my whole action to do the grease.
Yeah.
Ah well. That's me. Actually, can I try to grab Aziza and move her away from the center of the room? You.
You would not be able to because you need to do your action to do that.
No worries.
As Craig, it is Tanith's go.
Is it my go?
It
Sorry, I'm
is
just looking
your
at my
go.
spells.
You're pretty close to this
Keeping
thing.
Spells. I am, which I really don't like, and I have a plan for getting out of that. I just want to know what I can actually do. Because that's my first step. What can I do? And right now it's not too much, so I'm not going to use a spell slot for this. But I trust if I tried to move, it would get an attack of opportunity on me.
Yes.
Cool. So I'm going to use my action to use my other Shadow Touch spell to cast Invisibility.
It can no longer
As-
find you.
As the sort of runes would move around Tanith rather fast, sort of gleaming with these glistening silver runes, before Tanith just sort of disappears as the bandages move a little bit too fast. As I use this time to make my movement to a corner of the room where I feel a little bit more safe. As how long does my invisibility last? It's until I attack something, yes?
Until you attack or something is able to detect you.
The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts a spell, so as long as I don't cast a spell or attack, I'm good.
And nothing here has true sight, so you're fine.
As instead, what I'll do, and no one can see it this time, is I'll activate my form of dread, but I'm invisible. A bonus action.
Spooky.
Spooky, but no one can see it.
Um,
Slightly depressing. As you can sort of, like, the rest of the party, and, well, the collector probably can't because it's a construct, can sort of feel the wind whip up slightly from the corner. There's some dust, maybe gets in some people's eyes, but that's about it. I mean, the only person that eyes it could get in is Orson's, and I'm pretty sure Orson wears glasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
As the collector itself is not intelligent enough to know that Buckethead is not alive. As I don't think either of those hit you, Paul. As that's a 14 and a 15.
Ha! I love having high AC.
Revel
I
in
have
it,
a-
Paul. Revel in it.
It can be higher though.
I forgot to roll my 10 hit points, I'm sorry. I need to do that now.
Gasp, Craig, why would you do this to me?
Sorry, I activated and forgot.
As my turn is taken up with attempting to attack Paul and failing. Never thought I'd be saying that. As Craig, it is Ia.
Cool. Ia was near me, and Ia also does not like this big thing, so Ia is also going to turn invisible. And get the fuck out of Dodge.
Run away!
Probably just behind one of the pillars. Like maybe like... Actually, Ia would instead run to where Grim and Orson are. Probably hop up on Orson's shoulder, because he's in the doorway. So he'd just feel a weight on his shoulder all of a sudden. And keep an eye on the way we came, because we did hear that barking when we came in.
Yep. As Matthew, it'd be Grim.
Just to double check, is this map to scale?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So that's, let me do a quick measure.
The floor plan
that's one.
maps for Gryphon Hill are all to scale.
Okay, excellent. I would like to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, just sort of on the edge of this pillar here. Can I see Aziza?
You would be able to, yes.
Okay, with my bonus action, because I can do this because I'm a funky grave cleric, I would like to hold up my book and reach out and just sort of gesture with a hand as I cast Spare the Dying as a bonus action.
You're no longer dying, Lewis.
Let me just delete that full 1d20 that I had prepared.
And then with my action, I shall then turn and point at the cadaver and go with Call the Dead. Can I get a Wisdom save?
Now let's learn if it can take necrotic damage.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
13.
that just passes. It's disappointing.
It's okay, it doesn't take necrotic damage.
I was going to be disappointed in whether he passed or failed, so... Okay. That is my turn.
As Lewis, you are spared. You're still unconscious, however. But you're not dying, so that's a bonus.
You really just said Lewis doesn't get a turn.
Do you not have healing word, Matthew?
Oh, I have Cure Wounds.
Ah, fair. Need to get a bit closer then.
Yeah.
As Ewan, it's Orson's go, you're still in the doorway, and you can feel... It gives you a slight spook to begin with, though you've seen Tanith's cat go invisible and you've felt the weight of the cat is on you before, as it is presumable that Ia is around your shoulder.
I'm gonna start walking towards this thing.
The cat will hop off and stay in the corridor.
I'm gonna crack my knuckles, roll up the sleeves to reveal a dark tattoo, jagged and spiked. It goes up my arm. Bonus action, activate my Eldritch Claw tattoo and make 2 attacks.
2 of my boys have tattoos.
Indeed.
19.
That will hit.
10 thunder damage and 3 force damage.
Ouch.
Next attack. 23.
Also hit.
9 thunder damage and 3 force damage.
Okay, now.
Ouch. That's a nice chunk of damage.
In my turn then.
As it doesn't look too phased by the damage, though it would seem that the shockwaves at least send it through. As top of initiative again, we have Paul and Buckethead.
I would take the opportunity to. Wait, has this thing had its turn?
Oh yeah, you're Grease.
Yeah, you should have had to make a dex save.
16.
Still passes. Carry on.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
What is your save for your Grease?
11.
Ah. I now have a note.
Yeah, it's pretty. I would like to take this opportunity to beat its fucking ass. And
Just beat it.
just beat it. Yes. Would like to try and bring down my great sword on its sorry ass.
Make it
Attempt
sorry,
to beat
Paul.
it. That does not beat it.
Extra attack.
Attempt to beat it again.
Yeah, just like miss entirely and like whoop, and then try and like cleave upwards with it.
That
15.
also doesn't beat it.
I miss again. Maybe I'm standing in the grease and I keep missing.
You're just slipping and sliding like a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Just these two comical animated suits, or one animated flesh and the other animated suit, just not really fighting.
Ah well, end my turn.
As Craig, Stannis go.
So from invisibility, I'll have advantage on attacks. So I'll be making 2 attacks. Because it's at the same time, because it's 2 blasts at the same time, are both of them made with advantage?
I will
Because both
say
the blasts are considered happening at the same time.
I will say yes, because they're not one after the other, it's all at the same time.
Okay, hell yeah.
So
As
your
I'm casting,
your cover would be blown after the Eldritch Blast will have gone off.
as I hope Ewan is still proud of me as I'm casting Eldritch Blast.
Yes!
I always have to invoke Ewan's pride.
Let's
As that's
go!
21 and a 19?
Both hit.
Cool. As what the party would see is from invisibility, Tanith would appear in the corner, but what they would see around the cadaver collector is essentially throughout this time, 2 of the bandages have coiled around the back of the cadaver collector and are poised just above its head. As Tanith appears, they pierce down into it. As that's 2d10 plus 10, and this is all force damage.
Yep.
So yes, that is right. As it takes 16 points of force damage.
Oh, you
That is
rolled a
pitiful on the d10s. It's actually quite sad. Can it make me a wisdom save?
1.
I don't think this will work, but I might as well try it.
2.
Can it be frightened?
No.
Then nothing happens. M just said no necrotic damage and no frightened condition allowed.
There are some things that can be damaged by necrotic... Actually... There are some things that can be damaged by necrotic damage, they're just not here yet.
Yet.
See? I was right in what I was thinking. Is there anything else I can do with my bonus action? I do not think that there is, because I think this is an action. I do want to cast it, but that's an action. And I don't have any bonus action spells. I could have Ia just pop. No, I'm going to keep Ia in the corridor, so I'm not going to use my bonus action to command her.
Cool. Ia still invisible as well, yeah?
Yes, that's on her turn though, that proc, so.
Cool, that's fine.
You know, it never
Procs.
stops, because it's just invisibility for, how long is it? It's just until it attacks. So technically she's permanently invisible. So no, that's the end of my turn, as I'll just stay at the back of the room.
Is it intelligent enough? No, it's not. It still doesn't like Buckethead over Orson. As I think that'll hit you, Paul, on 2 19s.
That's DC.
How does it feel now, Paul? Crashing from grace as a marshal.
Right comes before fall.
3 and then 1, 2.
What pitiful damage can it possibly give me?
It dealt 40 damage to Lewis, Paul.
So, first attack 10, 20, 32, 35, 40. Are you resistant to necrotic damage?
Am I? I'm a warforged.
You are not. It's poison.
Okay.
Your damage you're resistant to.
So first attack is 45 damage.
Before you roll that second one, before you roll that second one, I would like to inform the party that I am on 7 HP.
Thank you. Help whatever magic item you have comes in handy here.
27.
Well, there we go, guys.
The grease is still up. The grease is still up.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
So it needs to make its deck save.
21.
Fuck.
Yeah, grease is just a minute. It's not even concentration. Paul just greased the floor and then left.
As for the 3 of you who are conscious, you'll have seen this thing just reach out its claws, kind of give a glance towards Orson, though focus still on Buckethead as he kind of just slams into him. And as Buckethead's form falls to the ground, kind of this crumpling heap of metal armor, the collector attempts to pick him up. And the moment the torso piece detaches from the rest of the suit of armor, you watch as this collector just screams and throws the torso piece against a column.
Buckethead, no!
Okay, wait. Here's something we never discussed.
Yes.
Obviously, we discussed that. Like, I could be able to maybe remove a part of my body, but it doesn't. It's not like they can, say I remove my hand. I can't like walk on its own.
Yeah.
Which part of my body stores the self?
Technically the torso piece, like your actual chest cavity.
Okay.
So technically, your chest cavity would be beside Grim at this point.
That's convenient.
And if that is revived, you'd be a floating chest cavity until you got to the rest of your armor.
Can't hold his great sword.
Oh, I didn't think I would be fucking a floating chest cavity. I would prefer to crawl without legs.
Just roll. Bouncing
Yeah.
along the floor until you get your feet back.
Get my legs back.
As Craig, it is Ia's go.
Staying in the corridor, as I said.
Nice. Grim,
Preparing an action if anything comes through to dab.
tap. What are you doing, Grim?
Right. Okay. So, I didn't think I'd be doing this again, but bonus action, I shall toll the dead.
Hold the dead, bonus action?
No, not toll the dead, sorry. Spare the dying. Wrong spell. Spare the dying on this chest piece that's conveniently rolled next to me. And what action would it be to toss it back to the rest of them?
I mean, it is metal on like stone floor. You could probably just kick me across.
Yeah, like
I'll do that.
you could just give me a strength to see if you can just kind of boot him back, you know?
No. Like Legolas in Two Towers, he stands on top of me and like slides down the stairs.
But there's no. It's a flat floor. You can't slide.
You can push me like a fucking skateboard or something. I don't know.
Arm like a barrel and just start like running on his torso as you're casting magic.
Let's just go with kicking.
Okay.
Is it just a free action then?
Yeah,
Or is
just
it
give me
part of the
give
spell?
me a strength and we'll say free action just to see if you can actually have the momentum to
Oh
slide
my.
this piece of
This-
armor.
This is going to be interesting.
Because it is still plate armor. It's a full set of plate.
Too strong.
Yeah,
That's great.
you kind of just put a foot on it and just push it across the ground, sliding it, and just hearing the clatter as it collides with the rest of the
Yeah.
armor.
And just let's.
And am I restored health?
No,
No,
you're just not
zero.
dying.
You're just not dying.
Oh, okay.
He's only got cure wounds.
I do. I maybe should have done that, but I don't think it's much use if you're just,
A torso.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair though, if you did do that, it would have been max because he was at 0. And I think that's
That
what one
is-
thing about grave clerics.
That is. He is still at 0, so I'll bear that in
I'm
mind.
up. I'm up, but I have 0.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So you're not making
Okay.
when you are spared the dying, or when someone spares the dying on you, you are still considered to be unconscious. You are no longer dying, so you don't have to make death saves. But your HP is 0.
Okay. Cool.
You're still down. You just don't death save.
Yeah.
No, that. I'll keep that
No
third.
worries.
I'm slightly regretting that decision now, but it's fine because I know what I need to do.
As what are you gonna do?
I think it's time. I think it's time for funny yeet spell. I
Funny
think it's time-
yeet spell?
Funny yeet spell, yes.
What on earth does that mean, Matthew,
Oh.
as a cleric?
So, Grim would take out his mace, a weapon you've not seen him use except to project for spiritual weapon, and he would toss it up into the air like very haphazardly, and it would just like spin. And as it becomes to fall, before it can the it just stops as he manages like magically hold it in the air, not really relying on his book as much, but as it just suspends there before he just brings the hand back and just launches it at the cadaver. So, can it make me a dex save as I cast Catapult?
Catapult a cleric spell?
No, it's a
it's
wizard
not.
spell. I have Magic Initiate because apparently it's my favourite feat.
13.
Wait,
You know what?
Every,
You know what?
every character that you've played, I think, has taken Magic Initiate.
You know what's very funny? A 13 passes my cleric spell save, but not the wizard one because my intelligence is higher.
See,
It's a
Matthew,
force-
Only by
I
one.
told you it would be useful to have higher intelligence.
Oh, it takes. Oh, that's actually decent damage. It takes that much bludgeoning damage. This is as good as I imagined it would be.
This is glorious.
It is.
So that's actually quite a bulk of damage you guys are actually doing. Despite Buckethead going down and Aziza not being up, you guys are actually doing pretty good against this thing.
Yeah.
Until another one of us goes down.
Hey, we're not there yet.
Yet.
Well, we'll see. As can you do anything else, Matthew?
Nope, that's my action and my bonus action, and I don't want to move. I don't get to do funny Grave Cleric things yet because nobody has crit.
And poor Lewis is still unconscious.
Yeah.
As Ewan.
Right. Next verse, same as the first. Gonna take another. That misses.
Yeah, quite a lot actually. As you almost kind of grab part of its armor attempting to thunder it, and it doesn't really work.
But second hit.
That will hit.
16 points of damage, 11 thunder, 5 force.
As it's not looking great in the grand scheme of things. You can see that you're, well, a combination of both force and thunder, and even from Tanith, is starting to shake quite a lot of the stitching and quite a lot of the magic that is almost suturing this creature together, as you're almost ripping it apart with the force, with the vibrations from the thunder. As the barking starts to get louder, as Craig, Ia will get her a chance to poke. As
Yes, but what happens?
running up from the corridor, probably a much more vicious poke as she is a cat, and these are dogs. 4 rather large, almost mastiffs, start charging down the corridor, in a very, very similar appearance to those ghastly creatures you guys fought upstairs with the black wrappings, where wisps of black smoke seem to trail from their bodies, and a broken and twisted jaw seems to leak this red ichor that also seems to be glowing from their eyes.
You wouldn't happen to be able to let out a hiss from standing in the corridor to try scare them into not coming in, would she?
She can give me an intimidation.
You're actually letting me do that?
Yeah.
It's not very high, but I'll try. That's 5. Definitely. Cats versus dogs. That'll definitely work. 100%, I believe.
Let's go. So that one and that one. As Ia, obviously seeing the dogs, lets out a rather almighty hiss coming out of her invisibility, getting up onto her haunches, kind of almost batting and vibrating her wings, the bones starting to rattle, as 2 of the dogs turn round, tail between their legs, ears flat to their heads, whimpers and run away.
Fuck, did a 5 work?
I rolled a nat 1 and a 3. They have -3 to charisma. I rolled a nat 1 and a 0. The other 2, however, are still there and will still initiate in combat come their turn, though their focus seems to be on Ia, as they are not very happy.
I am shocked that worked.
As am I.
2, okay, so I just took down the amount of dogs for fighting from 4 to 2.
2. As it's now Tanith's go, as Paul cannot do anything as he is unconscious.
How is this big thing looking?
It's still looking okay in the grand scheme of things, but it's starting to look rough.
So can I see one of the dogs that are in the corridor?
Yeah.
Considering, like, I've got that perspective. Cool. Can both this big boy and one of the dogs give me a Constitution saving throw? It's probably going to be good at it, but it's the only real spell I've got left I feel might work.
The Collector is a non-nat 20. The dog is a nat 1.
Cool, so the Cadaver Collector is unaffected. However, one of the wrappings that's around Tanith's wrist would sort of disappear and sort of like wrap around their wrist and then disappear, and would appear around the eyes of the dog as I've cast Blindness Deafness. And obviously it's blinded. As, yeah, I'll use my bonus action to have Ia attack the blind one. Which means I have advantage on the attack because it's blind.
Yep.
Cool. I didn't actually expect that to work. I expected both of them to miss. But 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Cool. So Ia deals this much magical piercing damage. 6 magical piercing. Can it give me a con save?
Nat 1.
Can it take poison damage?
Um,
I'm assuming
Yes.
not. It can?
Yep.
Huh. Because it takes an additional 8 poison damage. It's a good kitty.
she is a good kitty.
How was that specific doggo looking?
Not great.
As essentially Ia would, seeing that Tanith has blinded one of them, the outstretch of their hand, Ia would just pounce up, put her tiny claws on their shoulder and just bite. A lot less noxious of a bite than before, but still not too pleasant for this dog. This is not 3d10, it's 3d6.
As Doggo is going to try to attack Ia, though it is still blinded.
Disadvantage on its attack.
It does not hit Ia.
What did it roll? Just making sure.
Nat 1.
That's like 4 nat 1s in a row, Em.
Yeah, I know. The other would have probably hit it, because the other roll was a 13.
It's her AC on the dot.
But no, I rolled another nat 1.
Is the other doggo going to try attack her?
And no, it is Cadaver first. As the only other person nearby who is doing a lot of damage to it and is making it very angry is Orson.
Alright. Come at me.
Is that a 16 and an 18 to hit?
Let me confirm that neither of those hit.
Gasp! Orson, be strong.
Moments.
Artificer moments.
Well, armorer artificer moments. As it attempts to slam into you, almost picking you up, attempting to almost sweep your leg and grab a hold of you. You are able to get out of its way quite quickly. It is still able to get out of the, well, stand up in the grease. Depressingly by 1, but it's still standing in the grease.
It's still standing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew.
You're welcome.
As Ia.
Her turn again. She can't actually bite without my command. So, biting into this dog, she's going to get up onto its back, stretch like a cat would, and become invisible. That's her go.
Matthew. Grim's go.
Okay. Who do I heal first?
Maybe Lewis, because he's been on the ground longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was courtesy. I think we bring our guest back. So, I will
I'll
slide.
happily suffer the consequences of my actions.
No, let him play the game.
Yeah, I will slide over here. I will drop a cure wounds. So since you are on 0 hit points, you shall regain 1d8 plus 2, so 10 hit points. Let me just double check that.
Yes.
Yes, it is indeed. You regain 10 hit points. And I do not have much in the way of bonus actions. Nope, that's the wrong level of spell slot to mark off.
It's just going to turn around and slam Lewis again.
Hopefully not. As I'm going to have to flavour this slightly differently since my mace is still on the floor.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Grim
it is.
Grim will hold out. Again, flick through a couple of pages of his book, hold out. It sort of look down at his waist where his mace would be, and then look on the floor as it has that same sort of spectral glowy outline as another spectral mace appears behind the cadaver and just swings into it. So let me make a spell attack with that number. Does that hit?
That hits.
Okay. Spiritual weapon is 1d8 plus ability casting modifier, so that is 1d8 plus 2. It takes that much force damage. Yes. That is. I will use the rest of my movement to scuttle behind this pillar.
To run away.
Yes.
As one of the dogs in the corridor, in the dim light of the basement, seemingly disappears. As it too has the ability to turn invisible.
Is that the one he is on top of?
Nope, it's another one.
Damn it. I was going to try cheese that there.
As Craig, does a 15 hit you?
Nope.
Gasp.
That felt good to say.
As the smoke almost starts moving around, you can start seeing a small shadow starting to approach you in the corner of your eye, and you're able to get out of the way just in time before the Mastiff attacks.
So essentially what that would be is the bandages are still near the cadaver collector. Tanith would scream, rather high-pitched, pull the bandages back, put his arms around himself again and just back away from this dog, almost tripping up on himself.
As Lewis, Aziza's conscious.
Holy shit!
The big scary thing's in front of her though.
Just wake up with a gasp, just look around. Where the fuck did you go? And then, yeah, big guy still in front of me. So I'm just gonna, just kind of look, and then to anyone that can see me, sort of envelop in shadow and just disappear. And I'm gonna use the blessing of to 10, 15, 20 to just appear here. Or here, because I have to be able to see it. That's my bonus action. So I'm gonna stand up there, and then just let's hope this does something. I'm just gonna cast my Ray of Frost.
I
Make it
think
chilly.
cold is a good bet.
It's a very strange collection of resistances.
I am also resistant to all damage until my next turn.
Nice.
Because of my
Praise the
Raven
Raven Queen.
That will hit.
21. 4 cold damage.
Chilly.
Very chilly, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Oh, that's disappointing.
You stay the fuck away from me.
Will it though? You are very pretty.
I'm just gonna look at Tanith. Why did you leave me?
Tanith seems a little bit focused, though I'll get to that on my turn.
As Ewan, Sorson's go.
Let's go. Just gonna buff it again.
Has this thing had a go?
It did. I rolled for the grease. It's still standing.
God damn it!
It rolled
Paul
a
just wants
12
his
if
grease
that
to do
helps,
something.
Paul.
Hmm?
It's getting lower. It rolled a 12.
Oh no, wait, that. Never mind, that would have missed.
Yeah, it
So,
would have.
oh,
Getting ahead of yourself, Ewan.
second hit
That will also,
also
miss.
misses.
Yeah.
In my turn there.
As Paul, you're still unconscious.
Yeah.
Craig, it's Tanith's go.
Cool, so, seeing this rather large, wispy dog right next to him, Tanith is very, well, I mean, I said they screamed because they did, am I okay to disadvantage myself slightly?
If you want.
As Tanith is backing away from this dog, will probably trip over their own bandages and probably knock themselves prone. Sort of like, back on the ground, hands keeping them up. They probably put one hand over their face to try just, block off the view of the scary thing right in front of them. As subconsciously I'll use my magic item, which is my Coil and Grasp tattoo, to force the dog to make a strength save. As some of the bandages would just release themselves from his back and go over to the dog.
16.
16, that is a pass. So it is able to resist becoming grappled by it, as I have nothing to do with my bonus action.
As almost you attempt to grapple it, and perhaps in his own panic, the wrappings attempt to grapple nothing but mist, as the dog is able to almost dissipate and apparate to avoid being grappled.
Lewis Aziz will be able to see Tanith is just sort of, I guess, backing away, well, on his back, so it's not really crawling, but just sort of like attempting to move slowly away from this dog, but, well, is on the ground now. As I'll have Ia bite the dog that she's on top of.
Yep.
From invisibility, so it has advantage. Yes. Yes. 20 to hit.
That'll hit.
Can you give me a con save, as it takes 5 piercing damage?
10.
That's a fail, so it takes additional damage. Takes 13 poison damage.
Dog is dead.
Tenji Ia reappears after stretching, and then just sort of scraps the back of the neck of this dog, and, I like to imagine it just disapparates. But she lands on her feet, because she is a cat.
And she is cool.
She's more effective than me.
Orson, you will get an attack of opportunity.
Let's go. Sorry, that should be 18.
Yes, that will hit.
12.
As seeing that you are awake and alive, Aziza, this thing seems to have a small fascination with you. Perhaps an obsession, you're not too sure. Seeing you disappear, it kind of looks around. Orson, you see this thing quite confused. And then you watch as its eyes fix upon Aziza as she reappears at the other side of the room, and you hear it in its guttural tone, just pretty, as it walks towards her. Doing so, well, you might end up with a bit of a flat foot Buckethead as it steps on some of your pieces of armour.
Hey.
So you might need to fill out as it moves across, and it attempts to pick you up again. Would you like to give me an athletics or acrobatics to attempt to resist the grapple?
You know, I don't think I'm going to be doing the athletics one of those.
I wonder why ever not.
It's the option. Yeah, it picks you up again.
Oh, fuck.
As it just kind of scoops you up, picks you up again, and it's just pretty. Yes. A 25 will hit you.
It will, yeah.
Where's all my d8s gone? 2, 3.
The Lewis is down again.
Actually, I don't know if he will be. 1, 4, 6. Oh no, he is. Because you're on 10 HP, aren't you?
Yes.
11 damage.
Remembering to resist
11
all
damage.
Lewis.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do have resistance to it.
so that would be half. 5.
What type of damage is it anyway?
Just bludgeoning.
Just for my... Okay. 5. Taking 5 damage.
I didn't roll well on damage there. And it's not attempting to slam or impale you, it's just literally it's squeezing you almost. As
If it does some necrotic damage, you legally have to tell me.
it does do necrotic damage, just not at the moment. As it is Ia's go.
Invisible cat.
Cat be invisible.
Can do very much.
I should get a little
I-
token for Ia next time.
Yes, please. I mean, you have art for her. Okay. What he is going to do is going to climb up the cadaver collector,
Okay.
land on Lewis's shoulder, and use the help action to help Lewis with whatever he's doing next.
As whilst being held by the collector, you can feel something crawling over you, Aziza, and just perching on your shoulder.
You hear a soft purr.
And a rattle and a rattling of bones. As Matthew, Grim.
Okay. Is there enough space, like, here for me to squeeze through?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. I shall do so and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Making sure I stay out of its reach. And I shall drop a Cure Wounds on Buckethead, using the max value again because he's on 0, so he also gets 10. As I am down to... Oh no, I have 2 spell slots. But with my... So that's my action. My move with my bonus action, I shall have the Spectral Mace glide across the room and attack the cadaver.
Give me a roll.
It is... It is a +5. 5. That's an 11.
They will miss.
Yeah. And that's my turn.
As Doggo's going to attempt to attack Tanith on a 21.
Is that even with advantage?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that does hit me. This will be the first damage I ever take.
As the dog pounces on you, properly wrapping itself around you, as you take 14 points of damage.
Ouch. 14.
And you would obviously make a strength saving throw to see if you are prone, but you are already prone, hence it is pounced on top of you.
Well, yes, you know. Is that 14 damage, did you say?
14 damage, yep.
I'm just doing math, my bad. There we go.
I think you're on 9.
9 what?
9 health. Oh wait, no, your health
No,
has gone up.
I'm on
'cause you leveled up.
21. I didn't take any damage last session, I had 8
Oh.
temp hit points there.
Yeah. I forgot about your temp as well.
You get a D10 plus warlock level.
Um,
Yeah, very loud shriek again. It's getting more and more panicked this time.
as Lewis. You're being cuddled.
Listen, you big brute. Thank you. Flattering, but no. And I'm gonna spend 3 sorcery points. 1.
It's a lot of sorcery points.
Yes, it is for a 6th level sorcerer. And you know those shadowy dogs that are attacking Craig?
Yep.
Uno dog.
There was another one behind this thing, just beside Buckethead, but it looks like a jackal instead of a mastiff, and it's a medium boy. It is a dire wolf.
Aww. Hound of Ill Omen.
It is the Hound
Big
of
hound of Ill-Omen. It is.
The good omen, though.
And then I'm gonna
Upper.
I'm just gonna sort of gently just tell it to fuck off. not the hound, the thing. And I'm gonna start casting the spell that I was casting last time. And this sort of bright red energy starts forming around my hand, the same way it does when I do my Ray of Frost and my other spells. As it's going, it starts sort of transforming or transmuting into a more blacky blue colour. And I'm going to transmute my 3rd level Flame Blade into cold damage.
Yo! That's a frosty fucking sword.
Oh, never mind. I'm not.
Oh?
This is a bonus action to cast.
Oh, okay.
But I'll do that next turn if I'm alive. Instead, what can I do with an action? I didn't look at the casting time. Huh. I'll just pick up my dagger and stab it.
Nice.
Valid.
You have advantage.
I do. +6. This doesn't look as cool as my Flame Blade did.
But it still, like, works. The 23 hits.
It does work. 7 points of
Oh.
piercing damage.
Max damage. And can you do me a favour and roll initiative for your hound as well? Is
Oh,
it-
the hound didn't have a turn, it just kind of responded to things.
Nope.
It
Has its,
goes after me, doesn't it?
it rolls its own.
Yeah, but that one's got
it
initiative.
rolls its own turn in initiative, and obviously you designate the hostile target, so it moves towards its target and can
Which
only
is-
attack its target,
Yeah, which is the big thing.
the cadaver. So roll me some initiative for your hound.
Where's the time? I need to do some fighting.
I think a dire wolf is +2.
Yes.
I use them often enough.
9.
Oh, that's quite handy actually. So to give your dog a turn this round, because obviously 9 is above you in initiative, I will give your Hound of Ill Omen a chance to attack now, going after you.
Okay.
So you will have a chance to attack the cadaver.
Yes, and it has pack tactics.
It
So
does,
it's at advantage.
because allies are nearby.
See if I can remember this. Nope. I can't.
So that'd be 18, yes? 13 plus 5,
Yes.
which would hit. So roll me some damage.
Okay. Seven. Again. And can I make a strength save too? Oh no, it can't because it's big.
Big.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't have a size limit. It usually does.
Doesn't have a...
It just says if it's a creature, it has to succeed on the saving throw.
Modget failed the strength save, but have passed grease all this time. Oh my god,
8.
no.
It is pro. Unless it can't be pro.
It can be. Can you give me a deck save as Aziza?
I can, yeah. Pretty sure I'm not proficient in those. 17.
That's still pretty good. As obviously Tanith is to your right, so I won't make you fall that way, as it is now prone, and I will put you against this wall. As it obviously lets you go, it falls to the floor, and rather than keeping its grip on you and obviously falling with you, it kind of loosens its grip, falls forward, reaches out, and you just kind of roll out of its hand. And a few feet from it, but enough that it obviously can't grab you straight away, as you almost see sadness in its eyes. The red slightly dimming as it stares at you as you've gotten out of its grasp.
It's cute.
As
The
Orson,
simp.
Is it still prone?
it is still prone.
I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna make 2 attacks with advantage. 27.
That will hit. Give you eyed one.
Oh, thank you.
10 thunder, 1 force, second attack. 18.
That will hit.
8 thunder, 3 force.
This thing is not looking very good, guys. As Buckethead, you're back up on 10 HP. This thing is prone on the ground in front
Let's
of
go. You see the light in my suit, brighten, and I go, wait, I don't have lungs. Am I back up onto my feet? Is it my turn?
you. It is your turn. You have to use half your movement
I'm gonna.
if you want to stand up.
But that's fine. I'm right next to it. I don't
Yeah.
need to move at all.
You
I
notice
want
that
to
your
stand up
foot's
to my
slightly
fucking feet, and
crushed.
I'm limping. So, die, vile beast! And I would like to take my sword and try and like pierce it through its head
Give me an attack roll with advantage.
with advantage. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Prone
prone.
ball.
Yes. There's like, was that my grease?
Just tell him yes. Make him feel good.
Aziza's dog barks.
Thanks for the method,
It's a
Paul.
natural 20 hit.
Roll damage and double it.
That's fantastic.
Have we just killed like a CR14 creature?
15,
What was it?
but quite possibly.
CR15.
Oh, come on. Type properly, Paul. It's 28 damage.
Yes, yes, you have. As looking at Aziza, Buckethead obviously comes limping ever so slightly, lifts up his sword, almost kind of jump slashes, brings the blade down into its head, and you watch the light flicker and fade as whatever magic was holding its body together disappears, and the sutures and stitches start to burst as this thing falls apart. There is still one enemy left in the room, however. The dog.
What enemy's still there?
The dog attacking Tanith.
I can't get over there, can I?
No,
My dog is gone now.
you should be able to. It's only 10 feet.
He'll have used half his movement to get up from prone, so he's still got 15.
15 feet movement.
So I can get over to the dog?
You will be able to get over to the dog.
Okay. I would like to pull my sword out of the collector's head, run up to the dog, and I don't know what to do this. I don't know. I don't want to RP this.
It's if you kill it, Paul, it's still on full HP.
It's still on full HP.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not
fair
been
enough.
touched
Let's
yet.
No, I was more just like I probably was just like, oh, I just want to hit the dog. I was like, no, I was trying to think of something funny that I could do to the dog. Also, I'm conflicted because I don't want to hurt a dog.
Pick it up by the scruff of the neck. Try to calm it down.
And then it just bites my arm. No, I'll just try and bring my sword down over its head. I don't have advantage on this one, do I?
Nope. And if you roll in that one, you might hit Tanith.
10?
Nope, that's a miss.
Oh well. Second wind. Or what is it? Action surge, that's the one I want.
Action surge for 2 more.
Okay. I'm gonna try and slaughter
Welcome
this
to the
fucking
fighter
dog.
lifestyle.
I'll try again.
You'll never go back to being a caster.
14.
That hits.
Cool. So yeah, having missed the first one, I would try to like... I was aiming for the head, probably was like an inch or 2 in front of it. And then I'm gonna try and like go right and try and like hack off its leg or something like that.
This blade gets very, very close to you, Tanith.
12 damage.
Cool. It is still up, but not looking great as you slice through one of its ligaments.
If only I had another attack.
Oh wait!
I do!
26.
That also hits.
Okay. Having gone for one of the legs, I'm just gonna, do what I did with the last dude and just like try and pierce my sword through its back. Oh wait, what? I didn't need to roll. I just
No, you
need to roll damage.
Roll damage.
I just rolled another 20 by accident. Ah, fuck!
You really did. You really did.
I re-rolled that. 13 damage to the dog.
As you bring the sword through and you're able to cleave the dog, as you do so, you obviously pull the blade, thankfully, because if you wouldn't, you would have just impaled Tanith as well.
Thank you. I'd appreciate not dying.
As the 5 of you are out of combat, the body of the dog's disappearing completely. The cadaver obviously sticking around, it stays. Its sutured body starting to fall apart with rotten internals now spilling across the floor. Where Grim, Orson, and Aziza, what are your passive perceptions again?
10.
13.
12.
12.
No, 13. Yeah.
So, Aziza, you will be the only one that will be able to see this, kind of amongst the, I guess, flesh, sinew, maggots, and other rotting assortments that spill from the cracks in the cadaver, that in its internals, so unlike Buckethead that has no internals, this thing seems to have a mechanism inside of it where its heart or chest cavity would be, you can see in amongst all the grossness a tube about that big with quite a almost vibrantly glowing red liquid inside of it.
Oh, son, it seems small. Come here.
You are beckoned, Orson. Do you go?
Yes.
Look at this thing in it.
What's a strange tube of some kind. I'll have to take time to analyze it.
You do that.
Besides, I'm shattered. Go have a seat and analyze it. This will take a while. That's in and out of character.
As you go in to retrieve the tube from the grossness. Not really something you mind, let's be honest, Orson.
Yep.
As you kind of reach in and pull it out, obviously Aziza, Grim, kind of just being around, you guys will be able to see this as well. When Orson kind of reaches in, fiddles around and pulls it out, it's not attached to anything, although it looks like it could be attached to something, just not a part of the collector. As this brass tube, or this glass tube, has a brass top and a brass bottom, where a small closed, almost funnel sits at one end, almost as if it gets plugged into something and then it allows the liquid to drain. As this red liquid just seems to, even in your hands, Orson, still remains to glow. It's not blood, it's not got that consistency, it's almost like a watery consistency and it's a lot more transparent than blood. But whatever alchemical substance is in this, it is very magical.
Can I analyze it with my alchemist supplies?
You certainly can, as are you guys taking a short rest?
I would like to do something with the current situation I'm in.
Go for it, Tanith.
I'm gonna
So
use intelligence.
should I stay quiet?
Go, and then you and I'll roll in background. Whilst
Cool.
I check notes.
Because Buckethead is reasonably close to me, he would see Tanith very much press himself up against the back of the wall. Thank you, but please step back.
You have no need to fear. I saved you.
Congratulations.
Do not resist.
Congratulations. Now, please, could you step back? You're
Of course.
incessantly close.
I'll step back from Tanith. Is the kitty okay?
Ia is actually completely unharmed.
Yep.
As still being invisible, she would then appear on your shoulder, Buckethead.
Kitty. I was like, start scratching her ear if she has one.
Because you saved Tanith, Ia would let you scratch her ear.
Yeah.
Is there an ear? Or am I
Yes.
just like,
No, there
You're
is an
scratching.
ear.
You're scratching bone, but still.
There is still an ear there. And she kind of like, she hisses at you, and then you start scratching, and then she kind of sits and lets you scratch.
good?
And I would like to head over to Aziza.
Gasp. What do you do when you head over there?
Well, where is Aziza at current time?
In the corner, sitting down.
Yeah. Orson
Then
has
Tanith
cleared
would
a
come over to the corner.
Yeah, Orson has cleared a space to analyse this liquid. You'll have gotten up with Buckethead. Buckethead is with Ia, and Aziza will have taken a corner just to calm down, relax, and recuperate.
Not too far away from anyone.
Nope,
But not super close.
never again.
As yeah, I'd head on over. More just keeping hands on shoulders. What was that?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't
No.
know.
You disappear and then ask us why we left you?
I disappeared.
Yes!
That thing, something, fire, rush, people rushing, sounds, movement. I did. You all ran. I saw that. Next thing I know, you're gone, door's gone, this thing's in front of me and it fucking stabs me.
Alright, and whose problem was that when all of us were
So
able to
who
find
left
our own
who?
way out? We found our way. Why didn't you follow?
Well, some of us have to worry about, living. Some of us don't have the
Sometimes.
luxury.
Sometimes it's not a problem of who comes along, it's about who gets left behind. Focus, anybody could die here at any time.
You still have something to go back to. I'm trying not to.
And maybe you should take that a little bit more seriously.
Fuck off.
Gladly.
Just gonna sit and look through the kind of the journal that I've kept that I found in that one drawer of the drawings.
Memories of home.
I will get back to you.
Would Grim be doing anything?
He would. First things first, he mage hands his mace back to himself. Throws it on his waist where he keeps it. You probably take a couple of steps towards Aziza, see if she's okay, but obviously Hannah comes over, and as that whole thing starts, he just slowly backs away, giving them their space, and just sort of nonchalantly just tries to pretend that was his plan the whole time, as he just turns and kind of watches whatever the hell Orson is doing.
As Orson,
Yes.
fiddling around with the alchemical substance. You're not too sure what it is. You are very careful as you almost syringe just a little bit out, being careful not to burst the seal and being careful obviously not to break the vial itself or the tube itself. It doesn't really react with anything. It doesn't really react to temperature, but what it does end up reacting with, or at least I guess coming in contact with, is in your alchemy kit you will have obviously a lot of chemical ingredients, but you also have some organic ingredients. You know, flowers, herbs, roots, basic things. And when none of the chemical stuff works, you try to test some of the more organic stuff. And you just set a little bit of the liquid, the substance, into a small petri dish, and you just drop, seeing if it will react, seeing if it will do anything. and you watch as dropping a few roots or leaves, even maybe a few petals, into the substance starts to glow, reacting with the organic material, and slowly starts to drain the life out of it, until you are left with a crisp, black plant that is still there. It's not gone, it's not decomposing or decaying. The entire life force, its energy, has been absorbed by this liquid.
This is concerning.
You will, obviously observing this, Grim, be able to see Orson test various different things, and then change to the organic materials, where you see this liquid literally strip the life out of these organic components. It is very strong necromantic magic, though in a scientific sense.
Not a fan.
This is not good.
No.
It's a greatly destructive chemical, but it could be useful.
You plan to use it?
Now, I hunt wizards for a living. You'd find that a person who devotes their entire life to the study of magical books is not exactly the most fortuitous. This, of course, is simply a hypothetical. However, I will hold on to this in the event that we need it to break out. I will dispose of it when it is no longer necessary.
Sooner the better.
My thoughts exactly. My thought is that this chemical has been devised here, which leads me to my second note. We need to find the schematic. We need to find the chemical composition of this and destroy any evidence of it. We can't have this replicated. If this can be produced en masse, this could be used to slaughter thousands.
Indeed.
With the it's a red liquid, yes, but think of all the other liquids that are red, that are used commonly. If this was decanted into a wine cellar, it could kill hundreds, thousands. Is it odorless? Does it smell of anything?
Nothing.
Exactly. It smells of nothing. Probably will taste of nothing. It's the ultimate destructive bioreagent. It doesn't kill people. It doesn't poison them. It shrivels them. It drains them. It's like removing the liquid from a fruit.
We found what research and development is.
This is a bioweapon. I don't know what the laws are where you're from, but this is illegal.
I'd hope so.
The last time I've dealt with anything of this magnitude was when a crazy druid released a strain of fungus that turned people into plants into the waterways of Venice.
I can't tell you're referencing something.
I don't think
I'm
he is.
not.
Never. Marksar writes that down.
No, we don't need him committing more bioterrorism.
I will spend some time. What I will do for the remainder of our rest, is I will begin research on something that can reverse the effects of this. I know you have no reason to trust me, but I ask that you do, and I ask that you trust that I will not use this for wrong.
You're upon necromancy. I think I can trust you. At least enough.
Necromancy is high treason. I should know I'm a product of it. But he wasn't that smart. He was smart enough to bring a body back, but he needed to give me parts that he couldn't harvest. See, as you'll know, when a body decays, the organs tend to go first. Skin's pretty resilient, organs usually go first. That's how I've got artificial lungs, artificial heart. I don't need to eat, sleep, breathe. It's all purely formality.
He does it to be polite.
Well, yeah, like
I
people
will-
are already kind of weirded out by his appearance, Might as well make it more comfortable if he eats and stuff,
Yeah, if he can like performatively eat and performatively breathe, he will occasionally forget to breathe because he doesn't need to. It's like the whole "you are manually breathing" meme. He has to manually breathe because he doesn't need to.
All of us need to as well.
Remembering an episode of Black Mirror where she creates like a robot for her dead boyfriend or whatever. They're lying next to each other and she's just like, "You're not breathing." It's like, "So would it make you more comfortable if I breathed?" And it's like, "Yes." And he starts breathing. It's like, "No, now it's weird."
That's not the Jodie Whittaker episode, is it?
No, this is the one with Hayley Atwell and Domhnall Gleeson.
Because the Jodie Whittaker one is the one where she maybe cheats on her boyfriend, and they have the kernel in their eye.
Yeah, where they can like review all their memories and shit.
Yeah.
As for the end of tonight, with Paul and Ewan going film on us again.
It's television, not film.
Media. We will end our Halloween session for tonight, where one piece of the puzzle has been destroyed and another piece is being tested on, so we'll see how the third piece goes, lads.
Oh boy.
I take no responsibility in destroying that puzzle piece. I was only following instructions.
For tonight, thankfully Lewis didn't die. That would have been a real shame. 2 sessions in, our guest dies.
Yeah.
Nope, Aziza's all good for now. We'll see how that goes. We hope you enjoy, and I hope my boys are enjoying this Halloween session, despite
Yes.
going up against a CR15 creature.
Mm-hmm.
I made it
We
look like a
lived.
punk.
It died.
It did die. I thought you said
Did
I
die.
died, and I was like, no you didn't,
I
Craig.
said it died.
Yeah.
Killed it.
As for now, it is goodbye from me, and it is goodbye from my boys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.